night of 2017 here in South Florida. Hard Rock Stadium has been home to the Hurricanes since 2008, and it's a bonus home game for Miami tonight. 7-0 here this season. They even did the Canes walk into the building. The Badgers are the visitors in every way. Wisconsin travels well. Buckle up for a top 10 showdown.
The focus is trying to win this game for this season, for this group of seniors. To me, it's all about this year. It's the last time that this team will be together.
You're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl. Big Ten's had a nice bowl season so far at 6-0. Wisconsin trying to win a 13th game for the first time ever. Miami trying to win consecutive bowl games for the first time in 13 years. And warm, and I stress warm, greetings to those of you watching in Madison and surrounding areas where it might just feel like minus 18 degrees tonight. Here, we're not expecting any sympathy, but it is unseasonably cool, 61 degrees under clear skies as we are nestled in between Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday night with Brian Greasy. I'm Steve Levy. Todd McShay and Molly McGrath are on the way. You might think Wisconsin and Miami couldn't get more opposite, right? From the climate right on down, you're wrong. Lots of similarities. Both these schools feel like they were one win away from playing in the playoff on New Year's Day. The 12-0 start, the 10-0 start. Grease, a chance to finish on a high note tonight.
Yeah, really a chance to finish on a high note. The season couldn't have gone any better for these two teams, 12-0 and 10-0, as you mentioned. But tonight, an opportunity not to take a step back, but to take a step way forward to next year for both of these teams. Mark Richt has engineered a turnaround at Miami that is unprecedented, and we know the consistency of Paul Chryst in Wisconsin. They both have it going.
Quick check on my watch. We have been on the air for 4 minutes. That's a new Miami record for this season without mentioning the turnover chain. And we will get there, but the best defense in the country belongs to Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin, I think they're underrated. They are excellent. 10 out of 11 of their starters, Steve, are seniors. So they're experienced. They're well coached by first-year coordinator and Jim Leonard, and they're going to fly around. I think they're underestimated with their athleticism in the back end. Two corners, and Nate Nelson and Derek Tyndall, who are outstanding. On the other side, the other Broyles semifinalist, coordinator Manny Diaz, has his defense and that turnover chain going. But it starts up front with the big guys stopping the run. Derek Norton, R.J. McIntosh, Chad Thomas, and a creative scheme from Manny Diaz with some slanting, some corner blitzing, keeping running backs inside, funneling to those linebackers. They stopped Josh Adams and Notre Dame cold. Then they bring in two defensive ends in pass rush situations and make them look like linebackers, confuse offensive line, and then bring a true freshman safety from the corner as a linebacker. That's why they have more sacks than any team in college football. And then you mentioned that chain, right?
Yes, I did.
It all starts with recognition from Trajan Bandy, a true freshman, Jack Quarterman, keeping eyes on the quarterback, and then making plays. Manny Diaz has infused this team with confidence, and they're going to go against a team that's had trouble turning the ball over in Wisconsin.
Bursting at the seams, and here come the Hurricanes. That Miami defense will be up against Jonathan Taylor. Came in 6th in the Heisman voting. Kickoff from Miami on the way, but first, a look inside Nissan's Heisman house.
Hey man, let me get one for the fans.
How do I look?
Never looked better.
Welcome to the Nissan pregame rush. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy and the College Football Playoff.
Badgers would show up in a big way. Here's 12-1 Wisconsin. 5-0 on the road this season. They are 13-1 in true road games under Paul Chryst. And this certainly, even though it's a bowl game, feels like a true road game. Their star is the running back, Jonathan Taylor. He needs 79 yards to set a freshman record for most yards in a single season. More on that from our pal, Todd McShay.
And, you know, he may be as smart as he is talented as a runner, a lot like your college experience, Levy. He's going to double major in physics and astrology. But on the field, he's done a great job this year as a freshman being patient behind a veteran offensive line. And I think he may be the quickest with the best mix of acceleration of all these great running backs we've seen with Wisconsin in recent years. Now, he's coming off a tough game against Ohio State. First time all year long he was held under 70 yards rushing. And tonight, he's facing a swarming Miami defense that's going to make him work for every inch he gets.
McShay's just happy we didn't ask him about Sam Darnold, but we will. We will as the night progresses.
I don't see physics for you, but astrology I might see. You stare off into space quite a bit.
I want to see how it all works. What about the 18-year-old running back?
Well, he's got to protect the football. That's the most important thing. Forget about the yards, the records. He's put the ball on the ground 5 times this season, and you know Miami's going to come after that ball.
Yes, no question. Must be a big game. We've brought in reinforcements. Molly McGrath is on the field with head coach Mark Riggs.
Thank you, Steve. Coach Malik Rozier battled through a shoulder injury. What does your quarterback need to do to be successful tonight?
Just do his job, make his reads, put it on the money. He's got reads in the run game and the pass game. Just get everybody where they're supposed to be, and then put it on the money.
Your team is undefeated here at Hard Rock Stadium this season. It's already getting pretty loud. How will that be an advantage?
Well, I hope it is. If we give him something to cheer about, it'll help.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
This has been the Nissan pregame rush. And we are set for some football. Miami in their 10th appearance playing in the Orange Bowl game. Wisconsin, their first. Let's listen in on the coin toss.
It's heads. Miami's won the toss.
I'm going to defer to the second half and kick that one.
Okay, go ahead. Put your back. Well, you can just defer. You can just defer. Which, you want to receive down there? Okay. Miami wins the toss and defers to the second half. Wisconsin will receive on this end. Good luck, gentlemen.
Got a chance to meet Don Slesnick at the Orange Bowl luncheon yesterday. You thought the start would be more important for Miami than Wisconsin here.
I really do. I just think, coming off the clunker that they laid at Pitt, and then they were really outclassed in the ACC championship game. And when you have your quarterback who's benched in the Pitt game, you wonder about the mentality. And so to come out in this game, it's critical for Miami to get a fast start, which has been their Achilles heel. They have not started games fast all year, and they've had to come back in second halves. I don't think they would want to do that in this situation against Wisconsin.
Mentioned some of the similarities between the two, and of course there are a whole lot of differences beginning with that climate, but here you see the flip as you would expect. 61 Florida players on Miami, only 8 for the Badgers, but those 8 play significant roles for Wisconsin. We'll get into that as the night progresses.
Yeah,
too.
2 guys making their homecoming in that secondary for Wisconsin, and Dakota Dixon and Derek Tyndall. Will be certainly an emotional game for those 2.
Miami has won the toss, and they have deferred. Wisconsin will receive. Derek Tyndall, you spoke of him. He is back to return the kick of Michael Bagley. Miami out in their black uniforms, and we are underway from the Capital One Orange Bowl. Here's Tyndall, 1 yard deep in the end zone. Out to the 20, the 25, able to stay on his feet. And some good starting field position for Wisconsin. Some of the key positions you look at for Wisconsin, the quarterback and the running back, they have coughed up the football, and Miami lives on takeaways.
Yeah, and this has been the story of both of these teams' seasons. Miami taking it away, and for those that aren't familiar, Wisconsin with their quarterback Alex Hornibrook, 15 interceptions on the year. He has got to protect the football, especially early in this game in a hostile environment in Hard Rock.
From the 34, first down and 10. Hornibrook with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. They fake it to Taylor. And Hornibrook will just airmail that one, throwing it away on first down. Hornibrook struggled in that Big Ten title game. Again, they came up just a drive short against Ohio State, falling 27-21. But he threw 2 tough interceptions in that game and did not manage a touchdown pass.
I think both the quarterbacks in this game, Hornibrook and Malik Rozier, they understand that this is not going to be an easy game. These are 2 really good defenses. They're going to have to manage situations, protect the football, make the plays when they're there, third down and red zone, but protect the ball above all else.
On second down and 10. Give it to A.J. Taylor. Trying to turn the corner. Maybe picks up one on the play. Michael Jackson, the stop, brings up a 3rd and long, and we get the Chick-fil-A impact players from Todd McShay.
Yeah, the matchup to watch, I think, today is going to be Hornibrook, as you talked about, with the turnovers, not always seeing the field. He's got to keep an eye on number 4, safety Jaquan Johnson, who is a big-time playmaker, and they move him around a lot. He's great in run support, 85 tackles. He'll pick you off if you don't know where he is. 4 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. This guy makes big plays.
3rd and 9. Hornibrook all by himself in the backfield. Troy Fumagalli is his solid tight end. He loves on 3rd down. Hornibrook will step up and throw, and it's caught by A.J. Taylor across midfield, and he's got first down yardage. First clutch throw is good for 18 yards.
This is a great sign for Wisconsin. Watch the step up from Alex Hornibrook. Sees the lane, and then this anticipation between 2 linebackers to A.J. Taylor. That's as good as you can do it from the quarterback position, and a great start for Alex Hornibrook.
Jonathan Taylor checks back in as they move the chains. Sort of ease some of the pressure out of the building a little bit. A lot of red in the building tonight here. A lot of Wisconsin red. As we mentioned, the Badgers do travel well. 3 tight ends in the game. Handoff, Jonathan Taylor, his first carry, he's got first down yardage, and then some. Ball comes out. We mentioned the fumble problem. Miami says they have it. Let's see. I think they're going to say that Taylor was down.
Yeah, I think that line judge saw that he was down. Let's go back and take a look at it. There was Jaquan Johnson around the ball. Such a good playmaker at turning that football over and popping it out. And Jonathan Taylor, keep an eye on him. His great run initially, well blocked up front. This will be a great angle.
The previous play is under
It's a good call by the officials on the field. But still, that's not a good sign for Jonathan Taylor.
Because now he's thinking about it.
Well, he should have been thinking about it before the game started. Now I think he might be worried about it.
Matt Leffler is our referee. It's an SEC officiating crew. It's like D. Delaney jumped on it for Miami. You know, they can't wait to bust out that turnover chain.
I think his right knee and elbow were down.
Bill Lamonier is with us here today. You think we need Bill at this point? Or do you think we got this one covered, Grease? All right. Here's Bill, our rules expert. Let's get this out of the way early. What do you got, Bill?
We got some great shots here. Replay's going to have no problems confirming the call on the field. We've got an elbow that's down and a leg that's down. Then the ball pops out. Good call by the officials on the field. It'll be a good call by replay.
All right. Good to have Bill with us, as always. But there's so much talk about the fumbling from the young running back who won't turn 19 until next month. It's got to be in his mind. They preach ball security in the month leading up to this game, and then boom on the opening drive. After he had a good gain of 14.
I thought there was an interesting quote from Ron Dane, who said that, you know, sometimes he'll get in this open field and think he has a big play, and he gets excited, and then he starts to swing the ball a little bit. But you always have to have that ball high and tight.
Is that ball coming out before the knee hits?
After review, it was a fumble recovered by Miami. The ball be put at the 30.5. First down Miami.
Wow. And you know what that means? It's turnover chain time, people. There it is. The Cuban link.
That'll be controversial.
D. Delaney sporting the hardware right now. The fifth-year senior playing in his first bowl game gets the fumble recovery. And we talked to Mark Richt about this. He said sometimes at home they have to go silent on offense because the place is so loud after they bring out the turnover chain. On first down, Malik Rozier is throwing and completing to Lawrence Cager. First down yardage.
Looks back to take one more look. Was this ball moving before his knee went down? I don't think it was. I mean, I understand. Bill, I understand. I mean, that's what I was looking at. The ball didn't look like it was moving before that knee hit the ground.
No, I still had to.
Travis Homer is moving. He's across the 40. Go ahead, Bill.
I still had the ball in control when that knee went down. Then the ball popped forward from there. So I was surprised, too, by the replay reversal.
Gain of 20 on the play. Restore that turnover away. Rozier trying to run for it, and he runs right into T.J. Edwards, the best player on that outstanding Wisconsin defense.
Well, what a great opportunity here for Malik Rozier. You know, you get the turnover, first possession of the game, you get the momentum. And coming into this game, we were wondering about Malik Rozier and his confidence, right, after the last two times out had been brutal for him. And a great start now in plus territory at the 37.
Wondering about his confidence and his shoulder. On 2nd and 9, handoff, it's Travis Homer. They'll push back to see where they spot him, maybe for a loss on the play. Garrett Dooley was the first man there, down to Molly.
Well, Steve, before the game, I talked to Malik Rozier about his throwing shoulder. He told me this is the best it's felt all season. He's in no pain, had no extra treatment before this game. He said he needed those 3 weeks to get as much rest as possible. And before he felt like he was forcing some balls, had to put all his strength behind it. But now he said it feels effortless. His passes have more zip to them.
Watch for some of that zip right here on 3rd down and 8. A little stunting up front by Wisconsin. And it's an incomplete pass. Derek Tyndall able to knock it away.
We mentioned Derek Tyndall playing in his final game for the Wisconsin Badgers. He's one of the smartest defenders I've seen on tape. Look at him react here. As soon as he sees Barrios with an in-breaking slant, he breaks at the same time and meets the ball at the arrival spot. That's textbook from a corner.
Miami's going to try a long field goal attempt here. A 46-yard attempt. I beg your pardon, a 54-yard attempt. Michael Badgley on the way. Short. No good. Short. Badgley, who's hit from 57 in his career and 50 on the season, could not hit from 54.
What seemed promising drive for Wisconsin. Controversial turnover, but Miami not able to take advantage.
This was the story coming in, and it's the story early on. Wisconsin coughing up the football, and Miami taking advantage, although they couldn't get any points out of the deal.
Yeah, and now Jonathan Taylor's need to settle down a little bit. Even though I think it was a bad call, it's still like the ball's on the ground. The ball should never come out of a running back's hands, whether you're down or not, but it's got to protect the football.
His first carry will be interesting. Hey, look at there, it's a tight end, Grease.
Love him there, Wisconsin.
Austin Ramish, big part of their running game. And it's Taylor running behind Ramish and able to turn the corner. And he'll hang on to the football as he's banged out of bounds by Jaquan Johnson after the first down yardage.
You mentioned Austin Ramish, one of my favorite players on this Wisconsin team. Here he is, number 20, coming in your living room, getting the block on the strong safety, Sheldrick Redwine. You want to find out where the football goes and where Jonathan Taylor going to go. You might want to just follow number 20 in white. He'll take you to the ball.
2 carries so far for Taylor for 31 yards. We told you need 79 to set the all-time single-season record for a freshman. Ball spotted at midfield. Taylor will get another opportunity, and he'll stumble forward for 3. R.J. McIntosh came up to make the tackle.
Well, mentioned the struggles for Miami's offense the last 2 times out. Wisconsin was dominated in the Big Ten championship game by the Ohio State defense. Now, I know it was a 27-21 game, but they were dominated for 3 quarters. They did nothing on offense for those first 3 quarters. The only touchdown they had those first 3 quarters was Andrew Van Ginkel, the defensive end, on an interception return. So this offense needs to get some confidence as well.
2nd down and 7 off the play fake. Hornibrook, strong throw to Kendrick Pryor, and he's got the first down. And this Miami defense, Grease, you know, we know about the last 2 losses. They've averaged allowing 30 points in each of the last 3 games, so that takes back a little bit too.
Yeah, they laid an egg, right, in Pittsburgh, the last game of the year. Manny Diaz would tell you that the ACC championship game, they were outclassed, and they had no support from their offense. So I don't really judge this Miami defense on that Clemson game, but certainly they need to come out and dominate this game tonight.
That's Taylor, Ramish in front of him. And a quarterback under center. Hornibrook on the delay, and I mean a real delay on the draw. Jonathan Taylor. That looked odd. Down to the 20-yard line of Miami. It's a gain of 19.
This was either a mix-up with Jonathan Taylor or a really great okey-doke. He didn't even look like he was going to get the football there, and I think the 2 guys coming off the edge didn't know either.
Todd, is that being a patient running back?
Being patient. They love that play, though. I'm surprised that he looks surprised getting the handoff. They like to mix that up because they go drop back pass. When you run the draw, just like they did, their offensive line does a great job of being patient themselves and waiting, and then all of a sudden getting after the defensive front.
On 1st down, here's Taylor for a few, and that gain is his shortest of the night. That's the kind of night he's had already. They are banged up at the tight end position. Sometimes we'll see Cole Van Landen, who's listed as a left tackle and wearing 71. He's wearing 85. When he has to play the tight end position, they'll look at him to block as he now exits the field.
Yeah, they had an injury. Xander Newville, their tight end, is out for the season. Troy Fumagalli has been struggling with injuries this season. Had a hamstring early in the year and been dealing with an abdominal issue as bowl practice has gone on.
That's Taylor in motion. They'll fake it to him. And they try to set up the screen to Ramish, the fullback, and nothing doing there.
You see a couple of different things that Paul Chryst is trying to do with his scheme early to neutralize the speed of Miami's defense. Screens, they're nakeds. They're going to have some jet sweeps. They have to keep this defense off balance because if they just pin their ears back and run at you, Paul Chryst knows that he doesn't have the speed offensively to combat.
3rd down and 8. Ball to 17 of Miami. Rashid Ibrahim checks in.
Alex Hornibrook, sorry Steve, loves to find his tight end Troy Fumagalli right here, one-on-one.
Hornibrook looking left. And off the fingertips of Trajan Bandy. Looked like his receiver kind of gave up on the play. 4th down.
This ball, Steve, should never have been thrown in the end zone. The ball should have gone underneath to Fumagalli. Here he is. This is the primary read. And if this ball is put on the outside of number 81 right there, that's a 1st down. And that's a force from Alex Hornibrook.
A.J. Taylor, the receiver, just stopped running. Here's Rafael Gaglianone on to attempt a 35-yard field goal. He's straight on, and he splits the uprights. And there's our first score of the game. Badgers aren't hurt by that first turnover. 7:58 to go in the first. They lead 3-0.
The Capital One Orange Bowl, brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere. Taco Bell, official partner of the student section. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And Allstate, official protector of college football fans.
3 of the 5 national championships that Miami has won. Played in the Orange Bowl, 1983 championship. Stunned Nebraska. 87, bottled up Potent, Oklahoma. 91, they had an unbelievable linebacking group. One of the great groups in college football history.
I think I was 8 years old here watching the 31-30 Miami and Nebraska game. It was awesome.
We talked about it. Some South Florida fans, they miss the old Orange Bowl atmosphere of the old stadium. Mark Rick, we asked him about how do you recreate some of that excitement. He said, you win.
Yeah.
It was exciting because we won. All that swag people talk about, we won.
Yeah, exactly.
And people said the game here against Notre Dame was as close as they've come to the old Orange Bowl atmosphere. New Year's Day, we'll have the college football playoff semifinals for you here on ESPN. The early game has the Rose Bowl presented by Northwestern Mutual. And then immediately following that, the All-State Sugar Bowl, Clemson and Oklahoma. Are you excited about one game more than the other?
Oh, man, I think they're both going to be great games. But that defense for Georgia against Baker Mayfield, right? You see there's one outlier here, right? And it's that Oklahoma defense. Mike Stoops, their defensive coordinator. He hasn't been able to sleep for a month thinking about Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, DeAndre Swift, how he's going to stop those guys.
He's thinking about that 52 next to his name.
He's hoping there's not 52 points on the board.
Bring that down. Hey, they might score 53 to win. First down and 10. Here's Miami trailing 3-0. Rozier will take off and have the first down. Effective running the football. He's out across the 40-yard line.
I think this is a big key for Miami offensively in this game. The feet of Malik Rozier, whether it's a designed run or whether it's just like this, if you're not comfortable with it down the field, pull it down and use your feet.
Rozier to throw out to DJ Dallas. Down the sideline, DJ Dallas, the true freshman. Able to rip off the big game. Trell Jamerson knocked him out.
See, DJ Dallas stepped out on the sideline. Just not enough speed from TJ Edwards. No, he didn't. He was inbounds. And
that's good for 22.
One of the advantages that Miami has are some of their players on the outside on the offense have more speed than the linebackers of Wisconsin. When you get a TJ Edwards or Leon Jacobs, Ryan Conley out in space on DJ Dallas or Jeff Thomas, Mike Harley, they're speedsters. That's a matchup in Miami's favor.
You don't see a ton of tempo from Miami's offense, but that may be a ploy that they use. We saw that in the last couple of plays. If you've got more speed, let's run more plays and let's try to wear these guys down.
Yeah, Todd, I was talking with Mark Rick yesterday and asking him about his first 15 play calls, and he really wanted to get the tempo going faster, early. I think it's a great strategy because they've been such slow starters. Get some high percentage passes for Malik Rozier, get his confidence going, let him run the ball a little bit with his feet. I think it's the right strategy.
That was Derek Tyndall leaving the field for Wisconsin. Might have heard a groan from the crowd. Tyndall has more than 70 family members here in attendance.
It's Dante Carrier-Williams who will be his backup. Hopefully Tyndall's back out.
Nick Nelson moves over to play Tyndall's side on first down and 10 into Wisconsin territory. And on first down, here's DJ Dallas. Leon Jacobs made the tackle.
Thing this tempo and throwing the ball on the perimeter in space will do to a defense is tire out those guys in the middle. Alec James, Connor Sheehy, Olive Songapolu, the three guys in defensive line for Wisconsin, got to be in shape.
Second down and 7. Rozier trying to pick up the first down. He breaks free. And another big game for Malik Rozier. Down to the 25-yard line. When Leon Jacobs stepped on the field tonight, that was significant. He's playing in his 59th college football game. That's the most games played by anyone in FBS history. On first down and 10. Good crashing going on down there. And Dallas leading with his helmet and shoulder pads. Very close to another first down.
Give some credit early on, too, to this Miami offensive line. They have been kind of the weak link on this Miami team, much maligned outside of their left tackle, McDermott. But they're coming off the football. They're up to the challenge of this blue-collar, physical front seven of Wisconsin.
Tyndall is back in there. 25 in white, second and 2. On the ground. Travis Homer cutting inside the 10. And he'll push his way down to the 15, or rather the 5-yard line. First and goal upcoming.
Take a look at the left side of that offensive line coming off the ball. We talked about McDermott. There he is, 52, getting the block on Jacobs, which frees Homer to the outside. And you got Barrios with effort. He's up a first and goal.
Just outside the 5. 3 receivers top of your screen. That's Homer next to Rozier. Gives it to him. Inside handoff. Inside the end zone for the touchdown. Travis Homer for Miami. The Hurricanes are on the board.
Great effort here from Travis Homer. You see Garrett Dooley, the defensive end, outside linebacker, was free. Nobody blocked him, but it was just the quickness, slice in there from Homer, and then the effort to get it in the end zone.
And Michael Badgley splits the uprights for the extra point.
What a great answer from this Miami offense. They did it. There's Dooley right there. You got to get up inside. They did it with quarterback run, some pass, and then finally with the effort at the goal line for Homer.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. When Mother Nature blitzes, you'll need the very best traction on and off the field. You'll need weather-ready Goodyear, more driven. You're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl, and the Hurricanes have opened up a 7-3 lead with 5:21 to play here in the first quarter. And when Miami plays, you expect some big names, big personalities, and big people. Warren Sapp in the house tonight.
Well, Warren looks good. Looks like he shed a few lbs.
Jamerson from the goal line. Out to the 20 and out to the 25-yard line. And a flag flies. Check it. Again, it's an SEC officiating crew. This could be the traditional block in the back. Let's see.
Holding offense, return team, number 45. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the not so traditional holding.
Yeah. This Miami defense, Steve, has gotten off to a hot start. You can't run the ball horizontal on these guys. They're just too fast, and they hustle too much. Look at this, 8, 9 guys around the football. I think the turnover chain has created this in a way, right? Because if the ball pops out like it does here, and you're not around the football, then you're not going to get the change. So this is what Manny Diaz envisioned when he brought this up. And Mike Rumpf, the defensive back coach, also his idea. But that's what they wanted, to create hustle on defense.
Strength in numbers. On first down from the 9. Hornibrook throwing from the goal line. Too low for Taylor to pick it off the grass.
So, Todd, I'm interested because that's the third naked that we've seen from Wisconsin offense already in the first quarter, and there's been nothing there. What are the things you think they can do to negate the speed of this Miami defense?
I think one of them is what you're talking about. They're trying to get the quarterback out. This speed is very obvious early on. I think Wisconsin up front does a great job of communicating in pass protection, but sometimes you notice on tape, and we're seeing here tonight, they get overmatched a little bit by speed, so they're going to have to continue to try different things.
Second down and 10 from the 9. Give it to Taylor. He's stuffed after a 1-yard gain. Jaquan Johnson made the stop. Bring up a third long.
One of the things I noticed that jumped off the tape when I put Wisconsin's offense on, there's a huge tendency to run the football when 23's in the game. For obvious reasons, I get that. He's a true freshman. He's not great in pass protection or catching the ball in the backfield. So that's something that Paul Chryst has to combat, because Manny Diaz knows when he's in the game, they're running it.
6 defensive backs in for Miami on third down and 9. Hornibrook out to screen it to Rashid Ibrahim. Football comes out. Referee nearly gets knocked over. Zach McLeod able to put the lick on.
Great job with eye discipline there from McLeod. He wasn't fooled at all. You know, a lot of times when they bring in a different back, as you said, Greasy, they will pass and they'll keep that back in for protection. But he kept his eyes in the backfield, made his read, and that allowed him to get there in a hurry.
And that was Ibrahim who replaced Taylor on 3rd and long.
Yeah, he's been their 3rd down back predominantly, and for that reason, because Jonathan Taylor, it's no fault of his own. He's just young. He doesn't know all the pass protections and adjustments. That's why Ibrahim's in there.
Here's Anthony Lottie from his end zone, trying to blast it away. Braxton Berrios will let it bounce. And so Miami will take over with excellent field position after just a 39-yard punt. Hurricanes football. They'll start in Wisconsin territory, already with a 7-3 lead and looking for more. New Year's Day, more great bowl action for you. Such a great time of the year. Noon Eastern on ESPN2, the Outback Bowl. I know you'll be watching Greece, Michigan against South Carolina, and 1 p.m. Eastern over on ABC, the Citrus Bowl, presented by Overton's, Notre Dame and LSU. That's a special showdown.
How about the Big Ten, 6-0 in the bowl games, and still the only 2 left here, Wisconsin and then Michigan in that game.
Out of the Wildcat now, with DJ Dallas trying to create some offense for Miami, even with the 7-3 lead. They had a host of playmakers who are all lost for the season. They lost Walton early, the other couple guys later.
Yeah, this is the big 3 for Miami. Walton was the alpha dog. Herndon was their best player at the tight end position. All gone.
Again, DJ Dallas, speaking of gone, see you later. It's a Wildcat touchdown for 39 yards. And Miami adds to the lead. Hurricanes taking advantage of the short field off what was just a 39-yard punt. Extra point on the way and good. It's 14 points in 2.5 minutes for the Canes.
Right, and Miami came into this game only scoring 1 touchdown in the first quarter in the last 9 games. And now they've scored 2 already. Take a look here at the outside. This is Dooley. He's going to come inside. Connolly's going to come to the outside and miss the tackle. And then Jamerson, the safety, misses another tackle. This is just bad tackling from Wisconsin on the outside. That is not typical of the way that they've played defensively all season long, but you got to give some credit to Miami as well.
And now we'll see how Wisconsin stays in this game. That is Jack Sitchie, the 5th-year senior. They call him 3-sack Jack because he had 3 consecutive sacks on consecutive plays in a bowl game. Just has not been able to be healthy and stay on the field. But a lot of injured players, you know, he's a step away a little bit.
No, not him.
Sitchie's been full on like a full-time assistant coach.
Yeah, and he's been outstanding, and they're going to need some leadership here. They're not used to this, being in this situation down early.
See if Wisconsin's get a bit of a spark on the return. Latrell Jamerson, not much happening there. So did Wisconsin get caught off guard here? Are they surprised? This feels like a true home game for Miami, where Wisconsin has to weather the storm, and then the other bowl situation, they wouldn't have to.
I mean, Wisconsin, they go to bowl games and win. That's what they do. They've won their last 3. I just think they need to settle down a little bit, you know, play the tempo that Miami is playing offensively. They've got 10 of 11 starters on defense that are seniors. They'll settle down and play well in the rest of this game.
But it does seem like some early game nerves. The turnover by the true freshman early on, the bad punt, short field allowing Miami to take charge early. 14-3, 2:45 left to play here in the first quarter. Here's Taylor on the ground. They'll keep feeding it to him. Jonathan Taylor ups his yardage so far. Again, we told you he needed 79 yards for the game. He only needed 16 to pass Ron Dane for second on the all-time list. Yards in a season by an FBS freshman running back. And now he's up to 56 for the game.
The thing that Wisconsin cannot allow to happen is to get down by too many points early in this game, because this offense is not built to throw the football. That's exactly what happened in the Ohio State game, and they were not able to come back.
Again, feed it to Taylor. On 2nd and 1, he's got the first down. Took a pretty big lick there from Darian Owens. And there you see Taylor moving up the list. We talked to him the other day. He said Adrian Peterson, one of his idols growing up. And he's got a chance to knock him off the page. Officially speaking anyway, back in the day, they didn't always count yards in a bowl game.
Since 2002, that's when they started counting those.
Why can't we go retroactive back to that? That would be an easy one to add up.
As far as I'm concerned, Ron Dane had 2,109 yards as a freshman, so he hasn't even beaten his own alma mater yet.
On 1st down and 10, it's Chris James, his first carry of the game. I'm just thinking about the yardage you probably lost in all your bowl games. You'd be way, way up on that list. We come up on the final minute of quarter number 1.
Such an impressive kid, though. Talking with him, I mean, Todd mentioned in the open, but such a respectful kid. You would never think he was a superstar running back.
No.
I mean, he's unassuming, works hard every single day. That's the kind of kid you love in college football.
He picked Wisconsin over Harvard. Any further questions, people? On 2nd and 8. Trying to hook up a Kendrick Pryor, and he could not hang on. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 8. And this is really the spot Wisconsin wants to stay out of. Although Wisconsin was excellent in 3rd down conversions on the season, number 3 in the country. Miami surprisingly struggled on 3rd down defense, pretty much halfway ranked in the country in the 60s. Hornibrook so far just 3 of 8. For 23 yards.
Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator for Miami, really surprised me. He said, the thing I'm most worried about, not the run game for Wisconsin, the 3rd and long. They're 16th in the country in 3rd and 7+ yards. And you wouldn't think, because so much of their offense is based off the play action and the run, but they've been very successful in these situations.
One to snap it. They just got it away, or did they? So loud in here you can't hear it. I think they got a timeout before the play clock expired. Play clock was between 1 and 0s on it.
Before the snap, timeout, Wisconsin.
Bill LeMonnier standing to our left.
Anytime you have that situation where it's just about hitting 0
timeout,
and a coach is asking for a timeout, you will always grant the timeout and burn the timeout over the delay game. Center judge was shutting that down pretty quick, and people just didn't react with the noise.
See the play clock here.
Tell you what, it didn't help Alex Hornibrook out very much. He still got hit and pounded to the ground by 2 guys, and looked like Garvin and Trent Harris.
Thank you.
Or no, sorry, Joe Jackson. They got down and got him on the ground, a little extra, ripping the ball out.
It's a free shot.
I just mentioned how good they are on 3rd and longs. The reason that he's concerned, Manny Diaz, is because of basically the jump ball, the late separation. He's not worried about these Wisconsin receivers, tight end, running away from their defensive backs, but when the ball's in the air, they do an excellent job, including Troy Fumagalli at the tight end position, probably especially. And that ball is up in the air, late separation, and making a play.
6 of those defensive backs are in now on 3rd down and 8. Hornibrook in all sorts of trouble, able to escape, flag flies now, and what a catch! Kendrick Pryor with what looked like excellent coverage will check the penalty marker. If it stands, it's good for 27 on 3rd and 8.
Holding on the offense, number 79, 10-yard penalty, play, 3rd down.
It's David Edwards.
Take a look going up against Trent Harris, the leading sack man for Miami, and that's a good call. He had the arm around his neck. That would have been a sack for Trent Harris had he not held and it's going to break up this great play between Hornibrook and Pryor.
Edwards is one of those 3 All-Americans on that offensive line for Wisconsin.
That was a great job by Trent Harris, using his hands, knocking down that arm bar from Edwards. Edwards is a very talented player, but he's still just a redshirt sophomore. He got beat on that play.
Harris had a team-high 8.5 sacks, tied for second most in the ACC, was looking for one more there. Might as well have gotten it. That's 3rd and 17. 20 seconds left in the quarter. Hornibrook under pressure, and he'll throw it away.
This crowd is into the game, Steve. Manny Diaz senses blood in the water, and they're just going to bring a TE stunt right underneath between Chad Thomas and Trent Harris. Both those guys get to the quarterback with ease. Nowhere for Alex Hornibrook to go.
And the pressure really on the punter. Anthony Lottie had just a 39-yard punt the last time out when he was punting from his end zone. He's only punting from his own 8 now. A little bit better. Braxton Berrios is standing at his own 37. Here's the pressure coming. Lottie got it away. Berrios is signaled for the fair catch at the 33-yard line. More great action on New Year's Day. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I got a soft spot in my heart for UCF. That'll be really fun to see just how fast they are against that very quick Auburn defense. During the bowl season, the ESPN app is a fan's best friend. Stream every ESPN and ABC bowl game live at home or on the go. Get access to live scores, news from anywhere. Download the ESPN app now.
Got to give tons of credit to Scott Frost, too. A man of his word, said he was going to stick it through with UCF. You can tell he loved those kids, and for him to do double duty now at Nebraska and coming back and coach, I think that's awesome, Scott.
Fascinating dynamic with that. Coach sticking around to coach the bowl game. Here's Travis Homer. He's going to be shut down by Ryan Connolly and Leon Jacobs. And that's how quarter number 1 comes to an end. There's a flag down and an injured player down. That's Jacobs for Wisconsin. We told you, playing in his 59th game. Most in FBS history.
Illegal motion on the offense. Player going forward at the snap. That penalty is declined. 2nd down. That's the quarter.
There's Travis Homer, the running back. And that's how quarter number 1 will come to an end. Miami very much at home, jumping all over Wisconsin. 14-3. We've only seen the turnover chain once. Come on back for the 2nd quarter. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Todd McShay, and Molly McGrath adding some class to your faithful trio as we bring you 2nd quarter action. The Capital One Orange Bowl here in Miami. 14-3, the Hurricanes lead and looking for more. Ball is batted up and caught. Andrew Van Ginkel comes up with a turnover, and that's exactly what the Badgers needed on the first play of the 2nd quarter. There won't be a turnover chain on the Wisconsin side.
Malik Rozier is trying to slip this ball to Braxton Berrios on a wide receiver screen. You're going to see him come right into your screen. This is just great athleticism from Andrew Van Ginkel. He did the same thing in the Big Ten championship game to J.T. Barrett and returned it for a touchdown. He forced another fumble in that game. He single-handedly kept them in that football game, and he's given his offense a great starting spot here in this one.
And he's been getting more and more playing time as the season progressed. You know how he kind of made his name? He leads the team on kickoff tackles, covering kicks. Great special teams player, too.
And we'll see what that leads to on 1st down and 10 from just outside the 20. Hornibrook doesn't feel the back pressure and throws to the sideline and completes to Austin Ramish. It's a short gain, but they'll take it.
You know, just going back to Van Ginkel, this team, they lost T.J. Watt and Vince Beagle off of last year's team, and they were searching for guys that were going to replace. They moved Leon Jacobs from the inside to the outside, but then they went out and got Andrew Van Ginkel from a community college in Iowa Western, and he's come in and had a huge impact on this defense in his first year.
2nd down and 8 at the 21 of Miami. Taylor not in there. It's Chris James. Stopped by Darian Owens, and here's Molly.
Steve, this Wisconsin team is fired up after that last play by Van Ginkel. A teammate of his even went up to him and put a towel around his neck like it was the turnover chain. Jack Stitchie then said to him, now that's our identity. That's how I need you guys to play.
You know, the poor Wisconsin kids have been asked all week, how come you guys don't have anything? What would you do for a turnover chain? And somebody suggested, you know, a cheese plate or something. Not as cool as a turnover chain. 3rd down and 7. Ibrahim is in to get a chip. Trying to go back, shoulder throw, and it's caught. It's Danny Davis, and they're going to give him the touchdown. The true freshman, Danny Davis, on the receiving end. And Wisconsin strikes quickly after the turnover.
Great location on this throw and just outstanding concentration from Danny Davis. That's right over top of D. Delaney, who started this football game in place of Malik Young, the starter for the Hurricanes all season long. They felt like Delaney was a bigger corner, gave him more opportunity to play against a physical team. But he gets beat by Danny Davis for the touchdown.
They're going to look at this a few hundred times, I think. It's only a slight exaggeration. We'll check it again. If he was able to go over the pylon for the score, that would be something. What an athletic play that would have been.
To Todd's point, right? They're forcing you to throw the ball in tight windows, and you got to make plays. You look at that. It doesn't look like the ball crossed inside the pylon there. See, that ball has got to cross inside of the pylon unless part of the body of Danny Davis touches the goal line there. Then the goal line extends out into the out of bounds. I don't think he did that. I think this ball will be near the 1 yard line.
That's Philip Davenport, the field judge, who was making the call of touchdown.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Give him 6. Let's bring in Bill Lamagnier now, our rules expert. You good with that call?
The situation we have here, he's got to get the ball over or inside the pylon.
Right.
The angles we have, replay says the play stands as called. It appears the ball was outside the pylon, but if you don't have that indisputable video evidence, then you're going to go stands.
That's where the call on the field means everything.
It sure does.
Turn of events.
Wisconsin gets the turnover. And they were among the league leaders in the country in turnovers. Well, they just give me all the fanfare, all the attention Miami got. Got ourselves a ball game. You're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl, and things have tightened up in South Florida. 14-10 after the Wisconsin touchdown stands. Making matters worse for Miami, Malik Young, one of their starting corners, leaving the field. It was Young's interception against Bethune-Cookman that started the turnover chain. He got the very first honor of wearing it. We'll check his status as we go. And that ball will bounce out of the end zone for the touchback. Take a look at tonight's Player Spotlight, brought to you by IBM. He's one of the leaders of that Miami offense. It's one of the leaders in the classroom as well, Braxton Berrios.
I love this. You know, this is what college football is all about. Guys like Braxton Berrios, double major in entrepreneurship and finance, 396 GPA. He was the valedictorian of his business school. That just doesn't happen every day. Congratulations to you, Braxton. An unbelievable career both on and off the field at Miami.
We went around our production meeting today and said we need a show of hands, any valedictorians in the room. And everybody's looking around at the next guy. Hang on, is Molly claiming she was valedictorian? First down and 10.
False start on the offense, number 78.
Molly,
5-yard penalty.
quick question here. People want to know, valedictorian or not?
No, unfortunately not. I did get a good Jesuit education at Boston College, but I spent a lot of time on the field with reporting and cheerleading. Not a valedictorian. Honor roll, though. Does that count?
Would you stop putting Molly on the spot? She's new to the crew.
She's on the roll. Well, I knew it wasn't going to be McShay. Here's 1st and 15. And the sack, Olive Songapolu. The big fella, 99 in the middle, dropping Malik Rozier.
Wow, this energy of this stadium has gone out, and this offense and defensive line for Wisconsin taking over. Olive Songapolu, what a name that is, what a play.
His 3rd sack of the season, 2nd and 19. Rozier throwing on the rod. He's throwing away to no one.
College football anymore, Steve, is so much about momentum. Who can take momentum back? And it's these kinds of plays, these kind of energy from Songapolu, and now brings up a 3rd and 19 where Wisconsin and these rushers can tee off from the outside.
Songapolu will take a breather. Here's 3rd and 19. From the 16. Wisconsin only rushing 3. First catch from Braxton Berrios. Well short of the marker, and it brings up a 4th down. The first 3 and out of the game for the Hurricanes.
Smart play there by Jim Leonard in that call. Rushing 3, dropping 8, keeping everything in front of you. I've been so impressed with Jim Leonard all season. We know it was well documented what a player he was at the NFL level. He's found as good, if not better, of a coach at the college level in just 2 years on the job.
Zach Fiegels, his first appearance in the game. He's standing at the 10 to punt it away. Nick Nelson at his 33. Fiegels will fire. Might have been a little contact back there. And a fair catch. We open the night talking about the similarities between these two teams. And, of course, Miami opened up the season 10-0. There was all the talk. Miami is back. The U, they're back. And it really came after the Virginia Tech game into that Notre Dame game. And then this was the stinker the day after Thanksgiving in Pittsburgh.
It was such a hot start. I just think that once they got to that Pitt week, some of the immaturity of this team showed up. And Mark Richt has done an unbelievable job turning this program around in 2 short years. But you can't build maturity overnight. And I think that lesson at Pitt is going to go a long way for him as he continues to build this program back.
Wisconsin trailing by 4 on 1st down and 10. Jonathan Taylor out just shy of the 35.
I think some people wondered, are these two teams going to show up to play? Do they want it, even though they're coming off of disappointing ends to the season? Listen, for Miami, it's been 15 years since they had a double-digit winning season. And for Wisconsin, if they win this game, it'll be the first time in school history that they get 13 wins. So we're seeing on the field two teams that are motivated to play.
2nd down and 5. After all, it's the Orange Bowl. Whole lot of cachet goes with that. Here's Taylor on the ground. And he has the 1st down yardage. I mentioned whether Miami is back or not, and talking with Coach Richt about that. He said, everybody has a different definition. Coach Richt said his definition of Miami being back would be competing for a championship on a regular basis. And he said, look, we were right there this year. But that last game showed us just how far we have to go.
I completely agree with him, right? All the talk about Miami being back, I think it was completely premature, right? This Miami is different, okay? And they always will be different. They win national championships here, and that will always be the standard.
And that's coming from a South Florida kid, knows of what he speaks. A.J. Taylor on the receiving end. Jonathan Taylor, congratulations. Needed 79 yards, and he's got it. #1, officially speaking, most single-season rushing yards by a freshman in FBS history, and even better for him, he gets to pass one of the guys he grew up idolizing in Adrian Peterson.
It's been a special year for that young man, and came into this season at Wisconsin as a true freshman, thought he might be the 4th-string running back.
Here's Garrett Broshek, his first carry. Jaquan Johnson came up to make the stop.
I thought it was interesting, you know, he went down to on the awards circuit. He went to go see if he was going to win the Doak Walker, and it was between him and Saquon Barkley and Bryce Love. And he said, I was just honored to be there.
Yeah.
And
finished 6th in the Heisman voting.
Yeah, I mean, it's number. And his running back coach learned a lesson, John Settle. He said, the lesson I learned is never put limits on your players. So I thought he was just going to be a freshman. He turned out to be unbelievable.
It's 3rd down and 2. Give it to the first man through. It's the fullback, Ramish. And he has the first down yardage. We asked Paul Christ, you know, if he knew right away about Jonathan Taylor, would he be great right away? And Christ said, I want to get this quote right, he said, hell no, I believe is the exact wording. Knew he had the potential for somebody special there, but could not have known so early on he would have this record-breaking season.
What's really scary is that he is a true freshman. He still has a lot of room to grow, running the ball, but also, as we mentioned, catching the ball out of the backfield and in pass pro.
And I don't think he needs football. I think that kid can do anything he wants in the world. He'll be 19 next month. Here's Taylor. He'll be dropped for a loss back at midfield by Michael Pinckney. Pinckney, one of those players who flies around in that Miami defense.
It's a nice play by Pinckney, because when you're one-on-one with Jonathan Taylor, it's not a guarantee you're going to get him on the ground. He breaks a lot of tackles, and that's surefire there from Pinckney. This linebacking crew for Miami between Quarterman, Pinckney, and McLeod, all true sophomores, have been outstanding for this defense.
That Taylor loss brings him down to 77 yards. New life for Adrian Peterson. Easy completion to A.J. Taylor. He'll be just short of the marker, bring up a 3rd down and short.
Now, I noticed that Miami defensively is playing a little bit more zone. That was a zone there on 2nd and long, and it was great recognition from Hornibrook. Saw the zone, saw his receiver set up in the zone, got it to him on time, and brings up a 3rd and short. Miami, I have no reason understanding why they wouldn't just play man-to-man coverage the whole game.
Yeah, they're down Malik Young right now. That's something to watch for. 3rd down and 1. Give it to Ramish, the fullback again. This is so foreign to everybody we've seen all season, Grease. Not just having a fullback, but playing him and giving him the football.
You need a fullback, but you also need a great block here on the 2nd level from this offensive line. Watch them take the defensive tackle and just deposit him into the linebacker. You have no chance to stop that play when you get that kind of push up front.
Ramish, the 5th-year senior out of Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin. On 1st down and 10. Back to Taylor. Stumbles forward for 4. 7.5 to go here in the half.
I think it'll be interesting to keep an eye on the depth of this defensive line, or lack thereof, for Miami. They've been rotating their linebackers, having different guys come in on and off the field, but not as much along the defensive front. And as the game goes on and Wisconsin continues to run the football, they may be able to start to impose their will a little bit more.
That's a great point, Todd. It's almost 2-1 now, plays for Wisconsin offense to Miami.
Manny Diaz said, we've got a TFL defense. Tackle for loss. Here's Ramish again out of the backfield. And the fullback showing the athletic ability to leap over a defender.
Who Who says I'm just a battering ram, right? You think I'm going to go low on you? Delaney goes low. That is sweet right there. Sweet feet from Austin Ramish.
Gain of 13. D. Delaney's going to hear about that for a while. 6 different ball carriers for Wisconsin. And the fullback has 4 touches, 3 for first downs. We haven't seen that in the last few years combined. First down and 10. Back to Taylor for a couple. Jaquan Johnson came up to make the stop. Sound like a broken record with Johnson. He's in every play.
Yeah, he's such a good player. He kind of burst onto the scene this year. Think about Jaquan Johnson. You know, everybody talks about the interceptions, but he forces fumbles at an impressive clip. And the thing to me is that bottom line, he was named the team's most valuable player as a safety. That's pretty special.
And he's already said he'll be back next year. Not going to leave early for the NFL. That is good news around these parts. 2nd and 8. 12th play of the drive. Hornibrook the fake. And the throw. Back shoulder. It's A.J. Taylor. Touchdown. Wisconsin. He beats Sheldon Redwine for the score. The Badgers go back on top.
They tried this a number of times in the Big Ten championship game and weren't able to connect. A.J. Taylor from the slot on a fade to the outside. They got the matchup they wanted on the safety, Redwine, and just unbelievable concentration by A.J. Taylor.
That's exactly what Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator from Miami, was worried about. That late separation when the ball's in the air, his defensive backs getting their heads turned around to make the play.
Gaglianone puts it through.
Who says there's not going to be any offense in this game?
A lot of people thought 17-14 might be the final score. We're not even at halftime. We got points and some here in Miami.
The Capital One Orange Bowl, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Chick-fil-A, party season is Chick-fil-A catering season. Order now. Northwestern Mutual, spend your life living. And AT&T.
Is that your pal Tommy there at the end?
Yeah.
Young Tom Brady.
And Jason Kapsner there.
The Orange Bowl's had some memorable moments throughout history. You saw in 2000, Michigan erasing a pair of 14-point deficits to win a thriller in overtime against Alabama. Hornibrook went 6 for 6 on that drive. 6 for 6. 68 yards and the touchdown. And that was the time-consuming drive. Took 6.5 minutes off the clock. 12 plays for the score. Taco Bell has brought the best of the regular season to the Capital One Orange Bowl by creating the Live Moss student section. Tonight, they're picking up the tab for students' tickets from each school, giving the biggest games back to the biggest fans. Live Moss.
See if Miami can respond here with a little moss. They haven't had a whole lot of moss in the last 2 drives. They've been outscored 14-0. And they need to get something going on offense, give their defense a rest.
Of course, Moss means more. I know this because my kids are at Abuelo's right now. Spending the holidays. All right, here we go, 17-14. Miami trailing by a field goal with the football at the 25. Hand off Travis Homer. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Garrett Rand. You want to talk about filling a hole. 5.5 to play here in the first half. Second and 10. Rozier able to complete, and then it's knocked away. Dale Harris had it, and then he lost it. Dakota Dixon made the stop. I mentioned Garrett Rand. He, along with Chikwe Obasi, they won a little deep-sea fishing exhibition. This lasted about 40 minutes. That's a 450-pound hammerhead shark.
Wow.
Now, they were in international waters, so they tagged it and then threw it back.
Oh, it took them 5 minutes to get it in?
Some of those guys at the time of their life.
That's awesome. They come down here and able to do that. I mean, kids from Wisconsin catching a hammerhead shark in the Atlantic Ocean. Good for them.
And that is the bowl experience. Miami's lost 9 yards on their last 7 plays. And it's Rozier in all sorts of trouble. It's Van Ginkel again. He had the big interception, and Van Ginkel is there to make another big play on defense.
Great design here on 3rd down from Jim Leonard. Here's Van Ginkel way over here. There's going to be a huge lane, Steve, but Van Ginkel is going to fill, and he's the one that makes the tackle on Rozier. This would have been a big gainer, but the design by Jim Leonard, perfectly executed by Van Ginkel, who's playing his butt off.
So that Leonard defense, the last 3 drives have all led to losing yardage. Nick Nelson is standing at his 32. And Fiegels from his 9. Got some pressure from the left side. Fiegel's able to get it away. Back at the 28 is Nelson now. And he'll take a couple of big hits. It's a 49-yard punt. Van Ginkel's been the story for defense in Wisconsin. The loss there, he had the pick earlier that led to the score. Badgers by 3.
Welcome back to Capital One Orange Bowl. Austin Ramish, the fullback for Wisconsin, doesn't get a lot of love very often, but take a look at some of the impact that he's had on this game. Blocking for Jonathan Taylor, that's job number 1, and he does it very, very well. Springing to the outside on back-to-back plays. He's also converted catching the football out of the backfield with a little bit of pizzazz, Steve, going high over the defender, and he's also had 2 rushes to convert 3rd and shorts on that last drive.
And on 1st down, it's Taylor trying to follow the block of Ramish. And so people are going to see that highlight package you just showed. You know, why don't more schools go with a tight end?
Well, or tight end slash fullback, you know.
I mean, a fullback, I beg your pardon, yes.
Yeah, it's part of this offense because a lot of teams run the spread, and spreads don't have fullbacks like this. So it's kind of a bygone era for fullbacks, but I'll tell you what, in the NFL they still use him,
yep.
and if he gets an opportunity, he can catch the ball and protect the passer, and he'll have an opportunity.
2nd down and 8. Again, it's Taylor for a yard, brings up 3rd down. Trent Harris made the tackle.
It's a great opportunity for Wisconsin to really take control of this game. I mean, they've scored on their last 2 possessions. Last drive was 12 plays, 71-yard touchdown. If they can suck the life out of the clock here in this 2nd quarter and put more points on the board before halftime, they can really take control.
And again, Hornibrook was hot on that last drive, 6 for 6 on that 12-play touchdown drive. Last time out.
Tight man-to-man coverage.
Here's 3rd down and 7. Hornibrook able to complete to A.J. Taylor. And you see the disappointment from Trajan Mandy. 1st down, clutch throw and catch, gain of 10.
A.J. Taylor has been growing up in front of our eyes this season. You know, Quintez Cephas was their go-to wide receiver. He got hurt in the Indiana game in early October, and they really needed some wide receivers to step up. It's been Taylor, and it's been true freshman Danny Davis, who already has a touchdown in this game. Those 2 guys have really stepped up for Alex Hornibrook.
Jazz Peavy left the team. Adam Krumholtz is injured. Finn at wide receiver. Hornibrook looking down the field and trying to hook up with Kyle Peniston, the tight end. And there is a flag.
I think they're going to get Miami for being offsides.
Offside on the defense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
That's Kendrick Norton, one of their real physical tough guys in the middle of that defensive line.
That's a missed opportunity for Wisconsin. Peniston should have come down with that football. That ball was well thrown, and in the area of Peniston, it would have been a big game for Wisconsin. He just kind of mistimed his jump, it looked like.
And Hornibrook's been doing a good job, both with the silent count, the clap, and with the regular count under center of getting these defensive linemen to jump off sides today.
Peniston had just 7 catches all season long, so they don't go to him often. It's Ibrahim, the ball carrier, on 1st down and 5, and we still await Troy Fumagali's first catch of the game.
Well, you know, I watched the tape of the Michigan game, the Big Ten championship game, and Troy just didn't look the same. He didn't look like he had the same burst off the line of scrimmage, separation against man-to-man coverage, and I know he's been struggling with some injuries. He had a hamstring earlier in the year, and then he's been dealing with an abdominal injury through camp here. So he just hasn't been healthy.
2nd down and 3. Hornibrook on the inside slant to Danny Davis. His second grab, the first went for 6 and a touchdown. And they'll move the chains, and the clock will wind, coming up on 90 seconds left in the half. Wisconsin has 2 timeouts left. That's a gain of 14.
I think if you're Alex Hornibrook and if you're Paul Chryst, take your time. There's no reason to rush here. You don't want to leave any time on the clock for Miami. You've got your 2 timeouts at the 30-yard line with a 1st down. Plenty of time.
And Wisconsin has converted their last 5 3rd down attempts. The ball at the 30 of Miami. Wisconsin up 3 and looking for more, and that's not going to help their cause. Sheldrick Redwine came up to make the stop.
After you have a negative run on 1st down here, you need to get a little bit of tempo. Yeah, they're not going to huddle. They're going to get right up there. They can't afford to go back in the huddle after that play.
Loss of 1 on the play. 45 seconds left in the half. Hornibrook throwing in a double coverage. A.J. Taylor had plenty of company. 3rd and 11.
And Hornibrook was lucky to get that one back. He threw it so far down the field, nobody could get it. It was ill-advised. Now you bring up a 3rd down situation here, and I think what Paul Chryst is going to tell Alex Hornibrook is, listen, we got 3 points in our pocket. Don't do anything stupid here. Don't force the ball 11 yards down the field just to try to get a 1st down and risk turning the football over.
See, Wisconsin's been great on 3rd down, but this is 3rd and 11. That's a different kind of category. Instant pressure on Hornibrook. Gets the ball away and complete to Kendrick Pryor. Down to the 10-yard line. Chryst will spend a timeout.
Wisconsin.
This is what a confident quarterback will give you. He knows he's got pressure from the right. Just buy yourself enough time, shuffle a little bit, anticipate that throw. They get a big 1st down, and they're in business.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on Miami head coach. Half the distance to the goal. That's the Miami coach's first of the game. Automatic 1st down.
While we were in commercial during the timeout, Mark Richt hot on the field and arguing and making some contact with an official as well.
Yeah, that is not normal for Mark Richt. And the new rule, if he comes out and argue anything on the field, they're going to call that.
1 more and he'll be ejected from the game. Hornibrook back in the end zone. It's caught by Danny Davis for the touchdown. 2nd time they have hooked up. And the penalty is costly. Another score for the Badgers as Rick tries to compose himself. Third straight touchdown by Wisconsin.
What an answer by the Badgers. You know, all the momentum was with Miami in the 1st quarter. They scored 2 touchdowns in the 1st quarter, and we're wondering if Wisconsin is sleepwalking through the first part of this game, and they have answered with 21 and unanswered here in the 2nd quarter. What an unbelievable throw this was from Alex Hornibrook. Had to feather it over 2 Miami defenders in the back of the end zone. You're seeing a confident player in Alex Hornibrook right here. A lot of crossers in the middle of the field. Right there. 2 guys. That is not easy to do. A lot of traffic in there, and to feather that thing over with touch, it's as good as it gets from the quarterback.
And we're still wondering exactly what set off Mark Richt. And Molly's going to talk to Coach Richt, or at least is scheduled to talk to Coach Richt, on the way to the locker room at halftime, which is 28 seconds away. What an answer when Miami had the place rolling and the game going on, and up 14-3. 3 unanswered touchdowns by the 6th-ranked Badgers. And all of a sudden, Alex Hornibrook is the hottest quarterback in America. He's completed 10 for his last 11 for 3 scores.
Good for him. Good for him. The game against Ohio State was not pretty for Alex Hornibrook, and he almost had an opportunity to bring it back in the end, but the first 3 quarters were abysmal. He's come out ready to play in this game.
See how Miami plays this. Trailing by 10, they have all 3 timeouts. Here's Jeff Thomas. Spun around, will stay inbounds and be dropped at the 22-yard line. 20 seconds left in the half. And again, the Hurricanes have all 3 timeouts. I'm not sure Miami knows what hit him.
Well, I think that's what Mark Richt is reacting to more than anything. He's frustrated because he knew the most important thing he wanted to do early in this game was start fast, and they did that. Up 14-3, and they've kind of lost control here in the second quarter. It's been part of his defense not being able to get off the field on 3rd down, and that has not been the MO for Miami this season. Their defense has been their strength.
20 seconds left in the half. Out of the 23. Miami will play it safe. Keep it on the ground. See if anybody spends a timeout, or that will be the last play of our first half. We thought last year was an unbelievable Capital One Orange Bowl between Michigan and Florida State. This appears to be a dandy. 24-14, Wisconsin leads at the half. I can't wait to hear from Mark Richt. Let's go down to the field for tonight's AT&T Field Pass. Molly.
Thank you, Steve. Coach, you were sharing some words with the officials. What were you so upset about?
If you watch the tape, you'll see.
Steve, back to you.
All right, Grease, we've got some tape watching to do at halftime. And you thought Paul Christ was a man of few words.
No, he's hot. He's hot. He'll be hot in the locker room too. You think this is something, yelling at the officials? Wait till he gets in front of the team.
Pretty good grab of the arm as well there by the official. Rick was pushing his own people around. Fortunately for him, these bowl halftimes can be longer than during the regular season. 24-14 on Wisconsin. We'll send you to the studio for the halftime report after these messages. You're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl. Halftime in South Florida and Wisconsin. Thanks to 3 unanswered touchdowns, they lead by 10. Miami will start with the football. The way they ended the half was Mark Richt on fire.
Coach, you were sharing some words with the officials. What were you so upset about?
If you watch the tape, you'll see.
And we did watch the tape at halftime, Brian Greasy.
Yeah, you can see the right tackle, David Edwards, gets a hook around Trent Harris and kind of gives him a yank. And it was egregious in the eyes of Mark Richt, and he let the officials know about it, even contacted one official, which that's a line you don't cross. And I'm surprised Mark Richt didn't get more of a penalty here in this situation, but he's got to get his team back. Part of this is he's really frustrated with the way that his team played in the second quarter.
Right, so it's not all about that play.
Right.
And we asked Bill LeMonnier about that, and he said he really didn't cost the defender a step on the play, which could constitute holding as well. But we've seen some holding calls go against them, and in the end, it becomes a 5-yard penalty. Was half the distance to the goal, but did allow Wisconsin to add yet another touchdown. It will be interesting to see how Miami now responds after a lengthy halftime. Had plenty of time to calm down. Here's Travis Homer on the return. He's out across the 20 and down to the lady who bear the brunt of that interview, Molly McGrath.
Well, head coach Paul Chris was a little bit happier at halftime. He thought that Andrew Van Ginkel's turnover completely changed that first half for his team. He said that gave them a little bit of confidence. They were able to settle in after that. And I asked him how to keep the momentum in their favor. He gave a short answer. That is the theme of the night. He said, we just got to stop them.
Time of possession that first half. Wisconsin had the ball over 21 minutes. Miami just 8.5 minutes. Pick of the Hurricanes to start out at the 22-yard line. It's been a dandy of a first half. The Capital One Orange Bowl. Miami has seen a 14-3 lead disappear. Good play fake by Rozier. He'll keep it himself. Staying on his feet. Running the length of the field, the width of the field. That's the first down yardage. That's a whole lot of yards for 20.
It's a great play by Malik Rozier. There's nothing there down the field, makes one guy miss, and then just kind of keeps weaving his way back. I think this is a huge drive for the Miami Hurricanes. Offensively, they did nothing in the second quarter. It was a tale of two quarters. They went up 14-3, and then they were outscored 21-0 in the second.
Pitch to Travis Homer, trying to turn the corner. And he is tripped up at about the 50-yard line. That Rozier run for the first down was Miami's first down since the first quarter.
I think Mark Richt kind of settles himself down at halftime, and that's one of the challenges of being a head coach and having to kind of deal with the officials, but also be the play caller. Both of these head coaches do both duties, and it's pretty amazing that they're able to kind of compartmentalize and focus in those two areas in one game.
2nd and 2. Homer on the draw. They back to the line of scrimmage, bring up a 3rd down and 2. Ryan Connolly, one of the playmakers for that Wisconsin defense, made the stop. Had a team-high 80 tackles on the season.
These 3rd and short situations have been an Achilles heel for the Miami offense all season long. They're one of the worst teams in college football in 3rd and short. It's because they haven't been able to run the ball with success.
They're 0 for 3. They have not converted a 3rd down attempt tonight. Make it 0 for 4. Darrell Langham was the intended receiver. Put him in a punt situation, Todd.
It really is amazing to me that one play can turn around the game the way the interception by Van Ginkel turned around the game. I mean, since then they've done nothing, the Hurricanes. 21-0 run for Wisconsin since that one play by number 17.
Well, remember, Todd, that one of those touchdowns was because of the turnover in the first quarter from Wisconsin, so it was a short field. So this Miami offense has not been able to find their rhythm so far.
It was Fiegels from his 40. Nick Nelson will run under it and called for a fair catch at the 13-yard line. And is this the turning point of the game? Or we've been talking about this one after it's all over? There's Van Ginkel.
Yeah, Malik Rozier thinks he's going to be on the ground, cut by the left tackle McDermott. So we've talked a lot about Van Ginkel. We've talked a lot about Malik Rozier, but we haven't really talked about Casey McDermott. He was the one that was not able to get his job done on that play and allowed Van Ginkel to make the interception.
Van Ginkel also had a key sack in that first half. Making the plays on defense. Now we'll see what they do on offense. Trying to add to a 10-point lead. Jonathan Taylor at 85 yards and counting. Able to squeeze ahead for 5 on the play. In case you're just joining us, earlier Taylor passed both Ron Dane and Adrian Peterson, the all-time FBS mark for most yards in a single season by a freshman.
And here's a little bit of what Alex Hornibrook did in the first half. Great pocket to throw from, accurate balls down the field against tight man-to-man coverage. The story of this game, the biggest surprise in this game has been the Wisconsin wide receivers have been able to make plays against tight man-to-man. Even without Quintez Cephas, Danny Davis and A.J. Taylor have been up to snuff.
2nd down and 6. A couple.
Really, I'm just going to echo what you said, Brian. The whole first half, that was the biggest shock. I mean, we thought with the inexperience of these receivers, the classic matchup we always talk about of the speed of Miami versus the big guys, the strength and power of Wisconsin. They've just been better and more athletic on the perimeter, the Badgers have.
3rd down and 3. Still waiting for Troy Fumagali's first reception. Wisconsin's converted their last 5 3rd down attempts. Not going to be 6. Hornibrook is taken down. Dropped by Chad Thomas. Among the only senior starters on that Canes defense.
Yeah, look at this stance from Chad Thomas. He looks like a spider out there on the end of the line of scrimmage. And I'll tell you what, David Edwards has had a tough game. I mean, he has not been able to handle whether it's been Thomas, Trent Harris, we just saw. He could have got called for a holding call. He has really struggled in this game.
First sack of the game by Miami. Braxton Berrios running up. And Miami will take over, trailing by 10 on the Wisconsin side of the field. Early 3rd quarter, Capital One Orange Bowl in South Florida. Area coverage provided by Goodyear, watching over the hard work and determination of blimp-worthy athletes for over 60 years. Goodyear, the official sponsor of the college football playoff. Hard to beat that shot of South Florida on a Saturday night.
This stadium looks great, too.
They did a great job.
Renovations here, unbelievable.
Super Bowl on the way in a couple of years. And here's Miami, starting with excellent field position. Mike Harley on the receiving end from Malik Rozier. And to say the Miami offense has stalled since the Van Ginkel interception would be an understatement.
Haven't been able to get any rhythm going, but great field position here in plus territory.
Rozier trying to get out of there. Lofts one all by himself is Lawrence Cager for the touchdown. He'll never make an easier grab. 38 yards on the score and the perfect touch by Rozier.
Just the answer that Miami needed, right? You know they got an earful at halftime from Mark Richt and how hot he was going into the locker room. And the first drive they kind of stalled there, but great job of keeping the eyes downfield by Malik Rozier, and Cager came wide open.
Yeah, I'm sure Rick wasn't only angry with the officials, he was disappointed in the way his team had played in that first half.
It's a great job, though, here. Here's where the read is, Steve. You're going to read the curl flat up here. That's the first read. But watch what happens here as Malik Rozier is looking over there, nothing there, nothing there. Now he escapes, but look at his head. Keeps his head downfield, and that's what opens up the big play. It's a great job of keeping your eyes down the field, and then Cager uncovering for the big play.
The last 2 touchdowns in this game from Miami have both been on 2-play drives. Quick strike offense. Starting with great field position, both times starting on the Wisconsin side of the field, leading to the scores. Todd.
That's a great job by Cager, too. It's called scramble rules. When you're in a situation where the initial play is broken down, like Brian just walked you through, and you've got to, at that point, work back to your quarterback, or you've got to give him an opportunity and a window to throw. Cager was KG in deciding to get deep, and good thing Rozier saw him.
Cager, 2 touchdowns on the season. Picks up 1 here in the Capital One Bowl playoff game. And it's a field goal game right now. Latrell Jamerson from his goal line. Cut it up out to the 20-yard line. The touchdown pass, and it was a beauty of a throw, is a significant touchdown pass. Malik Rozier breaks Vinny Testaverde's 1986 school record for total touchdowns responsible, pass and rush. And of course, Vinny went on to win the Heisman Trophy that season.
It's been an unbelievable season for Malik Rozier, right? You start out 10-0, starting quarterback in your first season. Everything's going great, and then you get pulled from the Pittsburgh game. Proud of him the way he's come back and played in this game.
Check the Wisconsin answer, nearly intercepted. Shaquille Quarterman nearly wore the turnover chain. Wisconsin catches a big break.
This would have been an unbelievable interception from Shaq Quarterman. But we've seen Miami make these kinds of plays all season long. And Hornibrook trying to fit that one in there. They've run slant after slant after slant in the first half. Great adjustment by Manny Diaz and Shaq Quarterman to start biting on some of those.
2nd down and 10. Roshek in there as the setback. And they hand it to him. His 2nd carry. No gain. Michael Pinkney on the stop.
There's momentum out there to be seized, right? You get a big play offensively, broken play, touchdown, almost had an interception. I think this Miami team, and specifically this defense under Manny Diaz, understands they've grabbed momentum all season long, and it's their opportunity right here to get a stop and get the ball back to their offense.
3rd down and 10. Sure feels like a Miami home game right now. Hornibrook will step up and throw, and it's dropped by Kendrick Pryor. And Miami will get off the field. Consecutive 3-and-outs now for Wisconsin.
Yeah, and Hornibrook did what he needed to do. He needed to take a deep drop, find a lane, step up into that lane, and then fire the football. And if you're Kendrick Pryor, you got to make that catch for the 1st down.
Here's Anthony Lottie, just a 32-yard punt his last time out. He'll boot this away from his own 10. Braxton Berrios will call for the fair catch. And Miami will start at their own 40 after the 39-yard punt.
This is how Miami took control of momentum here in the 2nd half. The touchdown on the great play by Cager and Rozier. Almost another pick 6 for Miami and Shaq Quarterman. Manny Diaz knows that this 2nd half, his defense has to take control of this game, right? They didn't play well at all in the 2nd quarter, gave up 21 points. This team's going to win. It's going to be because of this defense.
Manny Diaz, one of the many local boys done good here in this Miami team, leading the way for that defense. All of that, and the Hurricanes are still trailing by 3. Rozier cocks and fires. Oh, going up for the grab. It was Braxton Berrios. All 5'9" of them to haul it in.
I think Mark Richt is starting to get his rhythm calling plays against this Wisconsin defense. He knows he's getting a lot of man-to-man coverage on the outside and a lot of zone on the inside. And those crossers with guys like Berrios are going to start to come open.
Gain of 16, Berrios' 2nd grab of the night. Rozier wants to put it up top again. And again, it's Berrios across the middle. One of the leaders on that offense. One of the vocal leaders as well.
And you know you got man-to-man on the outside like they have on Dixon here. And all you have are zone-dropping linebackers. If you just get the ball up over the linebacker, you're going to have a great chance for a big play. And that's exactly what Rozier did there.
And 21 more on that grab. Rozier to throw again. Why not? End zone, jump ball. And over the head of Darrell Langham. Derek Tyndall on the coverage. Molly.
Quarterman with that near interception. He came back to the sideline. His teammates, including Michael Pinkney, made him do 6 push-ups to count for the 6 points he did not get by taking that back to the house. So the energy is picking up over here on Miami's sideline, Steve.
6? You're going to multiply that by 10 or something. He's too big a guy. He's 60.
Are you going to give him a pick 6 on that? I thought he should have made the pick, but I thought he would have gone down to the ground. You think he would have run that back too?
Good athlete.
That would have been something. Here's Rozier. They've abandoned the running game and intercepted. It's Derek Tyndall. The local product from Fort Lauderdale comes home in front of 70 friends and family in the building, makes the interception in the end zone. Rozier wanted Cager again.
And he had Cager. He had him open for a split second. And if he would have thrown this ball on time, Steve, it would have been a touchdown. Go ahead and roll it, guys. You're going to see Cager come from the right side, play action, This ball needs to be thrown now. It's too late. The ball needs to be thrown right here because Cager is open. He waits and double pumps it and allows Tyndall to come back underneath. And Tyndall's too good of a player not to get that kind of makeup speed. Oh, Tyndall got away with a little tug there. It looked like he got a tug on the back of Cager. Mark Richt's not going to be happy about that call either. I don't think he saw it.
Second interception thrown by Rozier. Just a turnover without the chain. Flip it to Taylor. Will crash forward for 3. And Grease, I thought Miami got greedy there a little. They abandoned the running game altogether. Every play was pass, pass, pass.
Well, they got in a rhythm. Let's take another look at this Tyndall, the hold on the back. Yeah, he definitely grabs those pants. That's a missed call. And that definitely affected the outcome of that play and allowed him to come back and make that interception. It's unfortunate.
Second down and 8 from the 22. Hornibrook, inside slant. Danny Davis has become his favorite target. It's their first down of the half after the gain of 13.
I did not expect these offenses to play this well in this game.
No, you didn't.
I'm being honest here.
No, and I'm agreeing and letting the people know you did not see this coming.
Good for them, though. I mean, these are two good defenses, and you can tell that these offenses and two offensive coaches that call plays and have a lot of pride in the way their offense performs, they've gotten their teams ready to play offensively.
Play fake. Hornibrook out to Ramish in the flat, the fullback. His 3rd catch of the game. And his 4th first down.
I think Wisconsin is content to continue to slow this game down, realizing that they feel like they have the advantage in the 4th quarter. The way that their big offensive line comes off the ball and controls the line of scrimmage, and no rush whatsoever from Paul Chryst.
Approaching midfield now. 7 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Here's Taylor, and he's out across the 50. Wisconsin has outscored their opponents this season in the second half by an FBS best 173 points. They do think they're the better team in the second half.
Take a look at this, Steve. Look at this offensive set. It's like you have a whole offensive line to the left side of the center because you got 3 tight ends in there, one of which is a tackle. What you're trying to do is create more gaps, and defenses have to be gap sound. And when you create 3 more gaps on the left side of the offensive line, you're testing Miami's ability to fill those gaps.
Got 4 yards on that last play and maybe 1 on forward progress there. Zach McLeod came up to stuff the run.
That's just one of the ways that Paul Chryst will test defenses. He realizes he doesn't have the kind of playmakers that some other teams have on the outside, and he's lost some playmakers. So he's trying to find ways to create production in his offense, and that's a creative way of doing it.
You saw those eye-popping second half statistics. Wisconsin blows people out in the second half. Miami, conversely, they win the close games. Hurricanes are 4-0 in one-score games this season. And Miami saw something they didn't like, called timeout.
I'll tell you exactly what they saw. They had Danny Davis on Redwine, the safety, one-on-one. It was not a matchup they wanted.
The Capital One Orange Bowl, brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere. Taco Bell, where you can experience the power of the dollar. Ford, going further so you can. And IBM, you, powered by data, knowledge, insight. That's you to the power of IBM.
One of the crowning postseason achievements in Wisconsin's outstanding program history, the back-to-back wins in the 99 and 2000 Rose Bowl. Ron Dayne leading the way, the only Big Ten player in Rose Bowl history to repeat as the game's MVP, went on to win the Heisman Trophy in 1999. So Miami spends a timeout.
huge play here.
See the value of that after this play.
I want to think about using your hard count here if you're Alex Hornibrook too. 3rd down and 5, you get a first down for free.
Hornibrook all by himself in the backfield. Rushing 4. Hornibrook will throw on the run, and it's caught by A.J. Taylor. He paid the price and made the first down grab.
Cannot tell you how impressive A.J. Taylor has been in this game. Felt like Hornibrook could have run for the first down here, Steve, but he decides to pull the trigger. That's a dangerous pass, and he knows he's going to get hit by Jaquan Johnson. And time after time, especially on 3rd down in tight coverage, Taylor's been up to task.
Gain of 18 on the play for the first down. See, Taylor's had himself quite a night. Wisconsin has 2 fullbacks in there, not just Ramish, but Alec Ingold checks in. And Hornibrook doesn't want to give it to any of them. Now they'll throw. Down the middle of the field, it's up and dropped. Troy Fumagalli had it in his hands. Would have been a terrific catch in double coverage at the goal line.
You got to give credit to Darian Owens, a backup will linebacker. Here he is right here. Watch what's going to happen. You're going to have Fumagalli come like this, almost like a naked, and then he goes up the seam, and Owens does not lose sight of him, and at the very last minute is able to get his hand up there and prevent that touchdown.
And that's a great ball by Hornibrook. He put that in the only spot available to his tight end. And I think 9 out of 10 times Fumagalli comes down with that. Here's 2nd and 10. On the ground. Chris James stuffed in the backfield for a loss. Chad Thomas makes the play.
Chad Thomas is tough. I mean, he's 6'6", 275 pounds. Nobody even touches him there. He's just got too much speed. I know Todd's got him on his big board. Going to be one of the early guys to come off the board for this Miami Hurricanes defense in the NFL draft.
Thomas, they say, has really improved against the run. You saw that on that play. Here's 3rd and 11. Good pocket for Hornibrook. Underneath, it's A.J. Taylor again for another first down conversion. All right, beg your pardon. Did not get what he needed. Brings up 4th down. D. Delaney came up to make the stop.
Yeah, that's Manny Diaz there. First time that he has played a 2-deep zone underneath, trying to force the underneath throw and then come up and make the tackle and force a field goal attempt.
Rafael Gaglianone has this in his bag. This will be a 47-yard field goal attempt. He's already hit from 35. On the way. And plenty good. Gaglianone, who has a school record 4 career game-winning field goals, including both in his prior 2 bowl games. See if that might just stand up. With 3:39 left. Here in the 3rd, Wisconsin expands their lead to 6. Wisconsin fans here, they're jumping around, and we're not even at the end of the 3rd quarter. New Year's Day, we'll have the college football playoff semifinals for you on ESPN. The first game, the Rose Bowl game, presented by Northwestern Mutual, Oklahoma and Georgia. Immediately following the All-State Sugar Bowl, Clemson and Oklahoma. 2 dream matchups. Clemson and Alabama, I should say. Jeff Thomas spinning away. Thomas out to the 22-yard line. Well, yesterday at the Capital One Orange Bowl banquet, Dakota Dixon was awarded the Capital One Orange Bowl Football Writers Association of America Courage Award. The award annually given to a player, coach, or support person in college football who displays rare courage on or off the field. He was totally surprised. And then maybe he even surprised his birth mom. He hadn't seen his mom in over 15 years, and on Christmas Day following practice, he made the trip and went to find her with the assistance of his 2 sisters. DJ Dallas, the ball carrier, and he has first down yardage. It's a terrific story. about a terrific young man whose parents were in and out of his life at an early age, and he credits his stepmom, Beth Caston, with saving his life. And the beautiful part of the story is, if Wisconsin is playing anywhere else, any other bowl game, he's not going to find her. Maybe not, sometime after the season, but because it was here in Miami, near where he lived the first 7 years of his life, he was able to go seek out and have a beautiful reunion. DJ Dallas now out of the Wildcat. We saw a lot of that in the first half.
When I first read that story this week and I heard him talk and how much it meant to Dakota Dixon to go back and see his mom. He hadn't seen her since he was 7 years old. It really grabbed me, and we talked about Braxton Berrios in the first half. We're talking about Dakota Dixon here. These are the stories of why we all love college football. Yeah, we love scoring and playoffs and all that, but young men like this that have grown into leaders, not just of guys on their team, but young children everywhere, follow guys like Dakota Dixon. It was an unbelievable story.
Third down and 10. It's knocked away. Ryan Connolly got a hand in the way. Bring up a fourth down in a punting situation. Things have sort of settled down a little bit now. Wisconsin on their drive used over 5 minutes in the clock to add that field goal to give them a 7-point lead. There's Zach Fiegels. That's Jeff's kid. Back at the 20-yard line. He had some late pressure. And Nick Nelson is backpedaling to the 14. Trying to find a seam up the middle, and he's cut down at the 24. 53-yard punt that time. You've been to the Cleveland Repeats. Hey, this has been a whole lot of fun, and we anticipate more on the way on Monday, on New Year's Day. You're shaking off New Year's Eve, you put on the television. Check out the Outback Bowl, Michigan and South Carolina. And then on ABC at 1 Eastern, the Citrus Bowl, presented by Overton's, Notre Dame, and LSU. The state of Florida has not been kind to Notre Dame. The Irish have lost their last 5 games in the Sunshine State. Of course, they lost here by a few points, Grease, 41-8. That's when college football flipped out and said the U and the swag, it's all back. There's Jonathan Taylor on the ground.
This Wisconsin offense, don't look now, but as you look forward to 2018, when they start to get some of these pieces that grow into their roles at the wide receiver position. A.J. Taylor's a true sophomore. Danny Davis, who has a touchdown tonight, a true freshman. You would get back Quintez Cephas, who was your leading receiver. He's a true sophomore. There's going to be some unbelievable targets for Paul Chryst in this offense at the receiver spot next year.
2nd and 3. Here's Taylor. Amazing how good that run is. He actually bumped into Hornibrook on the exchange.
Hornibrook looked like he had a problem getting the ball from center first and foremost. He double clutched it, and that's a quick hitter. That's not the play that you want to bobble the snap. That's an inside trap that's very fast. You got to wheel around as a quarterback and get that ball in there. They were fortunate.
2 of his best runs came on botched handoffs.
That really, really delayed draw we saw in the first half. Taylor's over 120 yards rushing. Groshek is in there now. And they hand it to him for no gain. 40 seconds left in the quarter. Kendrick Norton made the stop.
Here's a look at some of these plays by the receivers. Danny Davis on the first touchdown, able to go up and snatch this ball. And it's just what you were talking about, Todd. What Manny Diaz was most concerned about was down the field with these receivers against man-to-man coverage.
And you would have thought that Fumagalli, the tight end, would be a big part of it, but it's really been these receivers on the outside. Here's A.J. Taylor, number 4, making that great catch in the back of the end zone. Just great concentration when the ball's been in the air.
Groshek on the ground took a big hit after they did a little wildcat of their own. And he'll take a loss. Shaq Quarterman came over to say hello. And that's how the third quarter comes to an end. We're on our way to a fine finish. It's a 6-point game. Head into the fourth in the Capital One Orange Bowl. You're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl. Steve Levy along with Brian Greasy, Todd McShay, the usual cast. Great to have Molly McGrath along the way. We welcome you all to the fourth quarter. The Capital One Orange Bowl from Miami. In a 6-point game. Badgers lead with the football. Come back for 3rd and 11. Hornibrook to throw down the sideline. Could not connect with Danny Davis. Some real good coverage there by D. Delaney, taking the proper angle.
Alex Hornibrook realizes he has a problem on the right side of his offensive line. David Edwards is out of this game. He has been hurt, and Trent Harris is coming after the right tackle, and Hornibrook just doesn't have any time to throw the football.
Lottie's back to punt. Out at the 30-yard line. Boot in the air. Berrios will pick it up on a hop. And he's out to the 30-yard line. We hear this all around college football. Are we getting the respect we deserve? We asked Paul Christ about it, and he said, you know what, I haven't given it one thought. Like, he's not focused on that. He's focused on the game itself. But you look at their one loss on the season and who they lost, what Ohio State did last night. I think Wisconsin does get their due, especially if they can polish off Miami in Miami here tonight.
Yeah, this would be a great end to the season. Remember, if they win tonight, it would be a historic season for Wisconsin. They have never won 13 games in a season. So I think plenty of people in college football, ones in the know anyway, have a lot of respect for this team.
And it is that never-ending fight for respect in college football. Chris was amazing when we sat down and talked to him. I probably asked him 5 or 6 different questions and said, and the answer was always the same. You know what? I haven't given that 1 second of thought. And for all the head coaches who are CEOs and in charge of everything, Chris comes across as just a head football coach. That's a compliment in a lot of ways.
It's just the way he wants it, and just the way Barry Alvarez wants it, and all of Badger Nation.
Here's Rozier able to step up and throw a wobbly pass that Langham couldn't bring down. Tyndall is shaken up for the 2nd time tonight.
As we enter into this fourth quarter, which one of these quarterbacks and sets of receivers are going to make the plays when they have to be made to win this football game? That's what this is going to come down to. Both defenses are playing man-to-man coverage on every snap. So it's got to be the throw and the catch. Who's going to make it consistently in the fourth quarter?
Miami has yet to convert on a 3rd down, Grease. Here's 3rd down and 8, a minute into the 4th. Rozier the throw, and it is caught. There it is, the conversion. Lawrence Cager making the catch. Andrew Van Ginkel got some pressure.
Great throw here. Watch the pressure from Van Ginkel. You have to anticipate that throw from Rozier. It's thrown perfectly to the outside shoulder for Cager. You cannot do it any better than that.
Gain of 13, and there is that elusive 3rd down conversion for Miami.
That's the throw and catch in tight man-to-man coverage on 3rd down I'm talking about.
Off the play fake, Rozier will load it up down the middle of the field, and an easy call for the officials. Mike Harley was going to run under that for 6, and an easy pass interference call. Nick Nelson knows it too.
Pass interference on the defense, number 11. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
There's a lot of offensive staffs in the Big Ten that are watching the game tonight saying, listen, those guys, number 11 and 25 corners for Wisconsin, they've been doing this all year. They've got a rap for pass interference, holding, trying to get away with some of these things. It's been all year. Tyndall got away with one early when he got the interception. It's a good call there by the official.
Could say it's a good penalty. Prevented a touchdown. Only a 15-yarder in the college game. With the ball out at the 41.
No safety here in the middle of the field.
I know what that means. Rozier down the sideline and threw it out of bounds. Langham was there again with Tyndall.
That's not the ideal call when you have no safety in the middle of the field. You don't want to throw a fade on the outside. Attack where the defense is not. Get somebody down the middle of the field. But this Miami offense, they don't have the capability on every snap to audible like some other offenses, and they were stuck in that situation.
See the numbers on that Wisconsin defense. They've been the best. Hey, they've been the best defense, #1 defense in the nation all season. You'd expect them to be great in the fourth quarter, and they have been. Rozier trying to step up, not that time. Not going to get away from Alec James.
You got Alec James matched up on the true freshman right guard Donaldson, and this is a mismatch. James, a fifth-year senior, just too experienced with that slap and over move. Rozier had no shot.
Third sack, Todd McShay.
And James, 4.5 career sacks coming into this year, and he finally started to put it together. Coming into this game, he had 5.5 sacks this season. Really doing a better job with his hands and working off of blocks.
Big play here on 3rd and 13. Rozier steps up and throws, and a clutch catch. Lawrence Cager has been the go-to guy in the big spot for Miami. First down, Hurricanes.
Now this is getting real fun to watch. Quarterbacks anticipating blitz, anticipating throws. This is a beautiful spot from Malik Rozier, and Cager is starting to show up as a go-to receiver.
Gain of 14. Rozier wants to throw again. Across his body. Nearly intercepted. Batted up in the air. And it falls harmlessly to the turf. It's Van Ginkel again who got his hand on the ball.
Wow, anytime a quarterback, you roll to your left and then you try to throw back, bad things can happen. But Van Ginkel, he's just around the ball, isn't he? He doesn't do anything spectacular, but he's just always in great position. Jim Leonard knew when he let one slip.
Second down and 10. Again, Miami to throw. Short one across the middle is caught. Forward progress will make it a short gain. That's Michael Irvin. Yes, the son of the Pro Football Hall of Famer. His first grab.
Third down is Braxton Berrios down. This is where they try to get him matched up. We'll see what Jim Leonard decides to do, who he's going to match up. Right now is Dakota Dixon walking over him in the slot, which tells me a zone is coming because he doesn't want to leave Dixon one-on-one in man coverage.
Converted the last time for the first time. Ball is batted up in the air. Knocked away. Isaiah Loudermilk makes the score sheet with a big play, batting that ball away.
Great job from Loudermilk at 6'7". He gets up and bats this football. If he doesn't get a hand there, you can see the ball's going to Berrios. He's right out there. He's going to be wide open. That was the zone, and Berrios knew it. Loudermilk saved the first down.
Loudermilk, one of the players who really benefited from the time between games, having nearly a full month. Here's Michael Bagley for 41 yards away to make it a three-point game on the way. And Bagley drills that one through. 11:34 to play here in the fourth. Badgers by just 3. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. You know, I know a guy up there, Grease. He could land it inside the stadium. He cuts it to the left a little bit.
You got a guy, huh?
I know a guy. Watching over the hard work and determination of blip-worthy athletes for over 60 years. Goodyear, the official sponsor of the college football playoff. Make a phone call. We'll land that baby right at the 50. See the Hurricane? They say the good teams win the close games.
Yep.
In one-score games, no one in the nation, well, in the Power 5, as good as Miami. 4-0 one-score games. Washington State had the same great record in those one-score games.
They did it 4 games in a row, right in the middle of the season.
New Year's Day here on ESPN, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This is just so fascinating, so interesting, the matchup. Really looking forward to see UCF and Scott Frost against that Auburn defense. That will be fun to see. And after we're done here in Miami, keep it right here, Sports Center, Scott Van Pelt. He knows a thing or two about hanging on South Beach. He'd probably give a shout out to Miles right about now, Prime 112. And he'll break down Steph Curry's performance in his return for the Warriors, the Penn State victory, and much more. Sports Center at night with Scott Van Pelt. Big game there by Jonathan Taylor.
That's a nice job from Jonathan Taylor. They fake it to him, and then he becomes a primary receiver. That is one of the staples in Paul Chryst offense, because what happens when you fake to a back, linebackers are in their head. They don't consider him an eligible receiver, and that's why he slips into the flat and is able to get a big gain. That's, if he can add receiving to his game, watch out for Jonathan Taylor in 2018.
Rips off 13 there. On first down and 10, Taylor on the ground. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. The clock winds, under 11 minutes to play in a field goal game. In the 5th meeting all time between Wisconsin and Miami. The last time they got together was also in a bowl game, the 2009 Champs Bowl in Orlando. Wisconsin won that game 20-14. They controlled the clock in that game for over 39 minutes. Big rushing advantage. They controlled the clock here as well in a big way. 32.5 minutes. Hornibrook to throw down the middle of the field. It's juggled and brought in. A.J. Taylor, great concentration. And 7 black jerseys there trying to rip that football out.
Here's the first adjustment I've seen. Manny Diaz has gotten out of his patented man-to-man defense. Look at this, 2 safeties. This is a zone all the way, which allows Taylor to get behind the linebacker. It's a great read from Hornibrook, a great route from Taylor. Miami, I'm talking about their secondary, are afraid of covering these receivers for Wisconsin man-to-man. Never thought I would say that, but that's what's happening right here. And now Wisconsin's making the adjustment to throwing into the zone.
The protection was really good there as well. Taylor over 100 yards receiving. Hornibrook wants some more. And there is Troy Fumagalli coming across. And in case you weren't sure, you can hear it from the crowd. The Wisconsin faithful that made the trip.
It's good to see Foom get a catch. He's been battling injuries all season and been such a great player for Wisconsin for 3 years now, playing in his final game for Wisconsin. You didn't want to see him get shut out in his final game as a Badger, but what a warrior he has been for Paul Chryst.
As Chad Thomas gets some assistance. Fumagalli is such a great receiver. It's well known. He's catching all these footballs with just 9 fingers. He was born with a disorder that forced doctors to amputate his left index finger just days after he was born. It's amazing to be such a great receiver. Jack Dunn is checked in now. On the ground, Ibrahim gets to the line of scrimmage. And Fumagalli's not afraid to have a little fun with the situation. He was telling us the other day that him and his boys in shop class got together when they were in high school, all the upperclassmen, and here come the underclassmen walking by, and they made as if there was an incident, an accident.
No, he didn't.
And Fumagalli said he scared off all the kids, and he said enrollment in shop, in the wood shop class, was way down with the underclassmen. Again, if Fumagalli can laugh about it, why can't we?
Absolutely.
Tremendous receiver for these Badgers. 2nd and 9. Again across the middle. Fumagalli's got his second grab. It's Fumagalli time.
And this is his calling card, making a tough grab in traffic. I mean, anything that gets anywhere near him, he just doesn't drop it. He never drops a pass. Look at that. 5 Miami defenders hit him, and he still brings that ball down for a huge first down.
Todd, NFL playing on Sundays?
No question. I think one of the top 5 or 6 tight ends drafted in this year's class. The irony of it all is his ball skills is his best trait. I mean, he's not great at separating. He's not the biggest, strongest blocker, but he catches just about everything in his zip code.
First down and goal. Wisconsin looking to add to that 3-point lead. Hornibrook will drop it across and find Fumagalli. Winds up being a short gain. A lot of effort for a short game. Trajan Bandy, sure-handed tackler, the true freshman from Miami.
Well, you got to give credit to Bandy. This is a touchdown-saving tackle. He's 2 right there in the middle of the screen. He reacts. He's a true freshman. That ball's a little bit underthrown, allows Bandy to catch up to Fumagalli. That's well done by a young player for Miami secondary.
Bandy only was 5'9", 180. Fumagalli now with catches of 15, 12, and 4 yards there. Second down and goal.
Keep an eye on Ramish. In these situations, they love play action to the fullback. He's lined up down here.
Hornibrook looking the other way, able to complete for the touchdown. Danny Davis, the true freshman, his 3rd touchdown catch of the game. And a hat trick for him with 33 on the board for the Badgers.
It's been all that they've done here inside the red zone to throw the fade. This is, as you mentioned, the 3rd time for Davis, and defender just never turned around, never got to head around to make a play on the ball. Had he done so, he may have had an interception.
Gaglianone on. It's a 10-point game again. Think about the true freshmen, Jonathan Taylor and Danny Davis for Wisconsin. Hornibrook's only a sophomore. He's got 4 touchdown passes. Badgers by 10.
The Capital One Orange Bowl, brought to you by the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. The all-new Accord from Honda. AT&T. And Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the proven sports fuel.
Playing in their 2nd ever Orange Bowl in 1946. The Hurricanes defeated Holy Cross 13-6. With 15 seconds left, the game was tied at 6. Unwilling to settle for a tie, Holy Cross head coach Don DeGrossa called for a forward pass. Al Hudson picked it off and ran it 89 yards for the game-winning touchdown. And that inspired the first ever turnover chain back in 1946. They didn't even call it a pick 6 back then, right? That's relatively new also. What a turnover chain looked like in 1946. Down to Molly.
Yeah, Steve, Alex Hornibrook is as cool as a cucumber. After that Danny Davis touchdown, he came over to the sideline. He was dancing with Jonathan Taylor. They both started hitting Hornibrook. He looked at them deadpan, didn't even crack a smile, shook his head, just took a sip of water, and then just looked back down at the ground. So he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low, perhaps a reason for his success.
And that's really helped with all the interceptions he has thrown to stay even-keeled. And he's done a good job with that. He was 5 for 5 on that last touchdown drive. 4 touchdown passes here, ties the Orange Bowl record. And the biggest thing with Hornibrook, he has not thrown an interception here tonight. Travis Homer, able to pick up.
He hasn't missed a lot of throws at all tonight. There was a little bit of a shaky start in the first quarter, but after that, Alex has been on point. You know, he's trying to redeem himself after that tough Big Ten championship game, just like Malik Rozier.
Here's Homer on the ground for the first down.
I would say the biggest difference, though, is he's had time to throw the football. His offensive line has played much better tonight against a good Miami defensive front, much better than they did against that Ohio State defense, obviously, which most offensive lines are going to struggle against Bosa and company.
7 minutes left. Canes down 10. Rozier with plenty of time to throw. Left one, got a man middle of the field. Jeff Thomas, did he bring it down? He did. Derek Tyndall, it's about as good as coverage as you can have. Jeff Thomas, true freshman, true concentration.
Look at this speed from number 4. I mean, Derek Tyndall can run, and Jeff Thomas just ran right by him. Talking with Mark Richt yesterday, he said Jeff Thomas is the one player on our offense that you're going to notice a huge difference in speed against a Wisconsin team. And Jeff Thomas is only a true freshman, makes a huge play.
Is that the route you're looking for, Greasy, against no high safety?
Absolutely, right in the middle of the field.
48 yards, first catch of the game for Thomas. And Tyndall's had a rough night. It's about the 3rd time he's needed to be attended to. Here comes that Miami crowd.
This is an opportunity for Mark Richt to grab his quarterback over here in the huddle as they look at Derek Tyndall and kind of give him an assessment of the situation. 6:47 left in this football game. We're down 10. We need 2 scores. Okay, so if you have it right here, take it. Shoot it to the end zone. If it's not there, then be smart with the football because we need a field goal anyway. Okay, so taking them through that whole scenario right now on the sideline.
First down and goal. Ball at the 10. Goes here on a quarterback draw. Gets a couple. Ryan Connolly met him face on. Clock winds, 6.5 to go.
That was an outstanding play by Ryan Connolly. There were 2 offensive linemen assigned to him, and he split both of them and was able to get Malik Rozier on the ground. He was the only one left assigned to the quarterback.
Miami still has 2 timeouts. Connolly's looking for more. DJ Dallas out of that Wildcat. Not fooling anybody anymore. Again, it's Connolly, the first man in, along with Leon Jacobs. And it's a 3rd down and goal.
This Wisconsin defense, there is nobody in college football better than them of keeping offenses out of the end zone in the red zone. They're number 1 in college football. This is going to be a tough touchdown for Mark Richt and this Miami offense on 3rd down.
It's big play time. Rozier on the move. Grabbed around. Andrew Van Ginkel, very nearly a horse collar, and Van Ginkel let go.
That's unbelievable.
That's discipline.
Awareness, exactly right. He knew he had Rozier stopped. Here's Van Ginkel right here. He knew he had him stopped, and you're right. He had that hand up around the horse collar in the nameplate area and alertly brings it down to his waist. That is just smart football. And that's what Wisconsin is. Defensively especially, smart, tough football.
Here's Badgley. From 23. No good.
Wow.
Off the upright and no good.
Badgley has made more field goals in Miami history than any other kicker. He passed the leader, Carlos Huerta, this season. That is an anomaly.
A 23-yard attempt you had to have, and they don't. Stay tuned for the Florida Skate postgame. That's coming up immediately following this game. 4.5 minutes to play. And coming up after the game, stay tuned for the Capital One Orange Bowl MVP and trophy presentations. Reese just handed in his ballot. I assume you're speaking for me there as well?
Yeah.
And McShay?
Yep.
And McGrath?
Yep.
Pretty much the whole team. Got it. Michael Badgley, they needed that field goal. Obviously in this 2-score game. You think you have that in the bank. Badgley's been so good.
Second charge timeout, Miami.
Made a Miami record 25 made field goals in 2015.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock.
76 made field goals in his career. His shortest miss this season was 42 yards away.
Yeah.
And he just missed from 23. Take a look at tonight's Capital One pivotal performance. And that's the quarterback.
I don't know who's been more pivotal than Alex Hornibrook. Certainly Davis and Taylor have made a bunch of plays for him in tight windows down the field, but Hornibrook has put the ball on the money consistently all night long. 4 touchdowns. He's been the catalyst, and it's been impressive to watch because he has had an up and down season. He's probably most importantly protected the football. Coming in against the team in the country that forces turnovers at the clip that Miami does, for them to have protected the football the way that he has tonight, it's been impressive.
And hit 10 of his last 12 down the stretch. When the plays are the biggest. And Wisconsin will try to burn some clock. Truly some 4-minute offense here. Here's Jonathan Taylor. Bring up a second down and short. Again, Miami has just 1 timeout left. They had to burn one earlier because they didn't have enough players on the field.
Yeah, well, they took one after the first down play here, and now Mark Richt deciding not to use his last one, because if they get a first down here, Wisconsin's going to start to run this clock out. Miami has no choice but to get a stop here on 3rd and short.
And Taylor's talking about hanging on to that football. 2 hands on the ball, wrapping it up. 3rd down and 1. See if Miami can come up with a big play on defense. It's Ramish, his 5th first down, the first man through. There is a flag down. Ramish needed 1. He's been getting it all night.
Offside on the defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's Anthony Moten. And you understand that, just trying to get in and make a big play.
Take a look at these big Wisconsin offensive linemen coming off. You see 95 jump off there, but they're reestablishing a line of scrimmage. I mean, Miami wants to stop Wisconsin right now. They just can't. This defensive line is gassed. They've been rushing the passer all game. They haven't been able to get to him there. And now this offensive line is being rewarded for all that pass protection with coming off the football and road grading.
On the ground. 2 hands on the ball. That's Chris James. And Miami has used their last timeout. Have we already seen the turnover chain for the last time this season? Back in South Florida. We're going to try to turn this stadium over pretty quickly. There'll be a lot of Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins fans in the building tomorrow. But right now, the Wisconsin fans are hanging around. They might not leave for quite a while. They can hang on down the stretch here. 3 minutes and 14 seconds left. Up by 10 points. And with the football.
4 yards for Wisconsin, and this game's over. And the way that they've been coming off the ball and running downhill, I like their odds.
Miami is out of timeouts. On the ground at James. Bring up a 3rd down. Wisconsin has had the football for some 37 minutes to just 20 for Miami. Since the Hurricanes led 14-3 after the first quarter, Badgers have outscored the Canes 31-10. And at 14-3, the game sort of started to feel like it was getting away altogether from Wisconsin. Very impressive.
Yeah. Don't be shocked to play action here from Paul Chris.
3rd and 4. Okay, Tony Bromo. Chris James, the ball carrier.
Now Paul Chris will run this clock all the way down, call a timeout, and we'll punt this football away. Miami got the stop they needed. I just don't know that they have enough time left, down 2 scores.
That field goal is a crusher. crushing blow for their normally reliable kicker. And you play it that way down the stretch, right? You know you're down 2 scores, you're down 10, and you play it that way. You say, all right, we'll try whatever, and then we know we have the field goal in our back pocket.
Well, yeah, they called 3 pass plays, and, you know, Wisconsin defended them well, and they did the right thing, didn't force the ball, and then your kicker just missed it.
Berrios will call for the fair catch, and there's 97 seconds left in this game, and it doesn't look like it's going to end well for Miami. And you know, we talked about the return of the U and the swag, and it goes down as a great season for Miami. I mean, bursting upon the consciousness of the college football landscape, the 10-0 start, got this market energized again.
First time they've won the Coastal, right? First time that they've gone to the ACC championship game. They got over the hurdle of Florida State, right? Hadn't beaten them. So there was a lot positive for Miami this year. I don't think that they were ever a contender for the college football playoff. They had too many holes in their team. Defensively, they were good enough to be in the playoff, but offensively, they weren't a playoff team.
How about if they would have beaten Clemson?
Yes.
And then they were going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Didn't come that close. Incomplete there to Jeff Thomas. Be interesting to see what happens with Miami going forward. They've already said they're going to have an open quarterback competition.
Yeah.
They've already announced that.
And I agree with that.
Next season.
I agree with that. And I talked with Coach Richt about that yesterday, and he said, you know what? Malik seems to respond when I kind of get on him, when I challenge him. And so, you know what? I'm going to challenge him. I'm going to do more. And because he responds to that, and I agree with it.
Good timing. Good collision. Nick Nelson arrived just as the ball did to Travis Homer.
Regardless, they're going to have some pieces, I think, on offense that have kind of matured after having this experience of this season, going on the road at Pitt and laying an egg, and what that caused for their season. They know what their standard needs to be. It's not Virginia Tech. It's not Florida State anymore. It's Clemson. Clemson is the big bad imperial empire that Miami needs to set their sights on in the ACC.
3rd and 10. Ball popped up into the air. 3rd interception. It will go for Ryan Connolly in the right spot at the right time. And the Badgers can truly start to celebrate now. Third interception of the game, coming off the arm of Malik Rozier.
Yeah, and that'll be the stat line for Malik Rozier, but really only one of them is his fault. That's not his fault. Travis Homer, you know, bats the ball up in the air. The first one to Van Ginkel, right? McDermott, the left tackle, doesn't get the cut. So I know everybody just looks at the stats, but Malik Rozier played a better game than what his stats will look like tonight.
And again for Miami, the storyline also, they have lived by the turnover. The turnover chain was a product of that, but they have lived by the turnover, and they were only able to turn Wisconsin over one time on their first defensive series. 70 seconds left.
And what a year for Paul Chryst. I mean, they're going to look back on this season as
record-setting.
As a record-setting season, absolutely. They were 6 points shy of the college football playoff to a Ohio State team that we now know after watching last night, pretty good football team. And Paul Chryst has got a bunch of pieces to build around on offense for next season, evidenced by Danny Davis and A.J. Taylor and Alex Hornibrook. To me, in my mind, really made a statement tonight.
Big Ten feeling pretty good about themselves.
Man, 7-0.
7-0, it's left your Wolverines. Michigan against South Carolina, Monday in the Outback Bowl. See it here on ESPN. Alex Hornibrook, 23 and 34. This never gets old. There's the shower.
he's elusive.
Cat-like reflexes.
How about Paul Chryst, the first 3 years at Wisconsin? 10 wins, 11 wins, and now 13 wins. I mean, how good is that?
Wisconsin so impressive, trailing 14-3 in the first quarter, outscoring Miami the rest of the way, 31-10.
We didn't talk much about that offensive line and their age, but that entire offensive line has the capability of coming back next season with Jonathan Taylor, Alex Hornibrook, and those bevy of wide receivers. They get Quintez Cephas back. There could be a great offense next year in Madison.
And you never worry about the defense there.
Well, they do have 10 out of 11 guys on that side that are seniors, although 5 of them could return because they're redshirt juniors. So they've got some potential there to get some pieces back as well.
McShay was talking about all the NFL draft picks that could come off that Wisconsin defense, but they always seem to find a way to reload, and they always have the walk-on programs as well. Alex Hornibrook, so impressive. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Here he is with Todd McShay.
Alex, what a game you have. You come out here and after some disappointment, obviously, in the Big Ten Championship, play maybe the best game of your career. Take us through it.
We had so much time to prep. We were just waiting to get out here and play. Felt like forever, but we were just out here having fun. Everybody was locked in, ready to go. We knew it was the last game for some of these guys on our team. We just wanted to perform well for them.
Set a school record, 13 wins in a season for Wisconsin. What does that mean to you being the quarterback of this team?
Yeah, that's big for us. I think the biggest thing is that it's the whole team, and our defense is unbelievable. Special teams, offense, everybody. It was truly a group effort. It's not just one group holding us up. It's the whole team, and that's what's special about these guys.
Congratulations, man. Steve, back to you.
Kenny Dichter and Wheels Up in the house. Big supporters of Wisconsin and college football on ESPN. Back down to the field. Here's Molly with the coach.
Thank you, Steve. Coach, Miami known for their turnover chain, but your defense was forcing turnovers tonight that absolutely changed the game. How did that spark your entire team?
I think it was huge. Obviously, Van Ginkel's interception was big. DT keeps him from getting points, and, it takes a team to beat a good team like Miami. And I thought, our special teams were good. Hoffitt's a big field goal, and I thought Alex played particularly well, and it was a heck of a team effort.
Your passing game has struggled at times this season. How did that find success tonight?
I think guys protected, and Alex was sharp and got in the hands of guys who made plays. KP came up big plays. Danny had big plays. Foom had a big catch. AJ was good. Rammers played really well. That's what I like about this team, is it takes everyone.
Coach, people doubted this team at times, especially because of their record. You were 1 loss shy of making it to the playoff. How does this win validate the caliber of this team?
I don't know. I mean, it's our team has a lot of confidence, and the thing they did best was just be in each moment and make the most of those moments, and I thought they played for each other. And you play the whole season, and you earn, what you get. And I'm proud of this team, and they can call themselves Orange Bowl champions. That's pretty big.
Congratulations, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Steve?
Wisconsin began playing football in 1889. This is their first ever Orange Bowl appearance. What an appearance it was. And their first ever 13-win season. Our final score, the Badgers knock off the Hurricanes in Miami, 34-24. Stay tuned for the Ford Escape postgame.
The 2018 Ford Escape postgame is brought to you by Ford. Going further so you can.
Welcome everyone to the Ford Escape postgame show. Back here at Hard Rock Stadium in South Florida.